as they run for 3 yards to get inside the 40 of Baldwin Wallace. So a couple first downs on the drive. They're moving the ball effectively both on the ground and with a couple short passes.
And here comes Pruitt, who we spoke of at the beginning of the game, the electrifying back who, as you mentioned, is nursing an injury. Look to see what he does here in his first snap.
Pruitt on the season, 47 carries for 180 yards, still seeking his first touchdown. Schaefer to the flat on the left-hand side. And a nice job defensively. Baldwin Wallace swarming to the football. Pass was caught out there by Jordan DeRazio, but really nowhere to go with it. It brings up 2nd down and 9.
That was Sam Groff who flew out there and made that tackle. The linebacker for the Yellow Jackets, 17 tackles on the year. That's second on the team. And as you mentioned, the Yellow Jacket defense is doing a great job of pursuit, getting to the ball and making sure that the ball carrier is tackled.
Opening drive of the ball game, 12:20 left in the first quarter. John Carroll trying to score first. Schaefer from the gun. Dumps left side over the head of his fullback on the left-hand side. That was Roe Golphin. He's kind of the backup running back to Aaron Pruitt. And from what we've been told, a really special young back. But a misfire there, and the Blue Streaks now have a 3rd down and long opportunity.
Blue Streaks definitely had an advantage to take down some of this length on this 3rd and long there with that pass into the flats that was incomplete.
So it's James and DeRazio out wide to the left. On the near side, Mark Bainowitz is wide right. Howell in the slot as DeRazio motions, and BW packs the box. 3rd down and 9 with 12:11 left, first quarter. Schaefer 5-step drop, fires it deep, looking for DeRazio, and he overshoots him. The Yellow Jackets force a 4th down on the opening drive of the game. And we'll see what the Blue Streaks do here. This is certainly too long for field goal range, but you wonder if maybe they might be aggressive and try to push the tempo a little bit.
Well, you look at the ball on the 38-yard line. Definitely, as you said, not a field goal situation for the Blue Streaks. And it looks like they're leaving their offense on the field and will go for it on 4th down.
So on 4th and 9, this is the 9th play of the drive. Schaefer in the gun with one sidecar to his right, a 3-receiver set. Now it's Golphin going out to his left. Schaefer being pressured. Throws off his back foot. Nobody even close to the football.
That's great pressure there. Getting pressure on that quarterback. That's Jake Maurer, the defensive lineman, and Sean Nishwitz, number 15, a linebacker, that applied the pressure there to Schaefer and forced him to throw that ball away, and a turnover on downs. Yellow Jackets ball on the 38-yard line.
So Baldwin Wallace opens up this game with an awfully nice defensive stand, and with 11:58 left in the first quarter, they'll take over on downs. Baldwin Wallace on 1st and 10 from the 38. It's a handoff right up the middle to Isaac Reed, and he'll take it for a couple of yards. Brings up 2nd down and 6. I think we've had some technical difficulties here at the beginning of the broadcast, so we apologize for that. This is the 27th annual installment of the Cuyahoga Gold Bowl between two cross-Cleveland rivals, John Carroll University in white and gold, and the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets in their home opener in brown and gold. No score, just 11:30 left in the first quarter. This is only the 2nd drive of the ball game. Meglin, the senior cornerback, who likes to run with the football, will throw it left side, near side, and it's caught. Nicely done by Trevor George. He ducks out of bounds.
Nice flash fake there by Meglin. Holds those linebackers there with that ball fakes and hits his slot receiver, Trevor George, out in the flat to convert for the 1st down.
John Carroll's defensive front certainly is the strength of their team. Joe Nawalnik, David Porter, Mike Tozzi, and Clayton Evans, the defensive front 4, and they create a lot of havoc. 12 sacks in their first 2 games, among the national leaders. Just shy of midfield, the Yellow Jackets fake a handoff. Meglin lobbing left side. It is just out of the reach of Tyler Wolf.
That's definitely something that you will be seeing here a lot. Tyler Wolf is Tyler Meglin's favorite target here on the year. He's got 157 yards, 78 yards per game. You've got him down low on the short side of the field with single covers like that. That's a matchup that you'll be seeing tried. Tyler Wolf on number 23, Jared Donovan for the Blue Streaks.
Donovan plays cornerback along with his classmate, Michael Hollins, who is an excellent player and a preseason All-American. They are two anchors of this defensive backfield. A fake handoff, an option play, and Meglin is going to get swallowed up after picking up just 2.5 or 3 yards. But he does cross midfield, and it brings up third down and a manageable distance for the Yellow Jackets.
Javon Dawson flying there to make the tackle. The former linebacker transfers back to his original position, which was safety. Comes down there looking linebacker-like, making that tackle on Tyler Meglin, who is so hard to bring down in the open field.
Todd Green, Andy Bryan, Mason McKenrick, the linebackers for the Blue Streaks. We mentioned the corners. Reese Armstrong and Javon Dawson are at safety. It's 3rd down and 7 on the John Carroll 48. Just over 10 minutes left in the opening quarter. Meglin simulating the snap count. Now he gets it. Throws it left side, wide open, and a catch by Brian Cook. Immediately tackled as the Blue Streaks defensive back, Javon Dawson, looking around saying, hey, where's my help? That was way too easy.
Yeah, Brian Cook, all he had to do there was just sit into the hole, a simple curl pattern. Meglin looks the defender off, gets that linebacker to slide over, creating a window for Brian Cook, number 5, the receiver out of Talmadge, Akron.
I'll tell you what, this Baldwin Wallace team has been outstanding converting on third downs so far this year. 16 of their first 29 third downs, they've been able to successfully move the chains. We'll see if that trend continues. On 1st and 10 from the John Carroll 32. Meglin pressured as he throws over the middle. We've got a flag, and the pass falls incomplete. We'll see who the flag is called on. It might have been offsides on the Blue Streaks here on the near side. Mason McKenrick may have jumped offside. We'll see. Good crowd on hand here this afternoon in Baldwin Wallace's home opener, of course, with these schools not being too far apart. How about that? A penalty against the Yellow Jackets. We got an illegal substitution penalty. 12 men in the huddle, so they'll lose 5 yards.
Yellow Jackets looking to go to a wildcat package here. Austin Smith, the backup running back, is in the shotgun formation with Tyler Meglin at the bottom of the formation.
Austin Smith takes it and rumbles his way inside the 30. Well, Smith is sort of an all-out guy.
Definitely
he's the kind of player you really want. You want to get the ball in his hands. Obviously, he's the team's punter, but he's shown an ability not just last year, but so far early this year to run between the tackles.
And definitely only 55 yards on the year, but 3 touchdowns. So he is sort of their red zone back to kind of punch it in there on the short distance.
Isaac Reed, who is certainly the more feature back of the two, and he is currently alone behind Tyler Meglin. Reed still looking for his first touchdown carry of the season as we hit 9:04 left in the first quarter on BW's first drive of the season here at home. Meglin, the senior quarterback for the Yellow Jackets, off to a pretty good start this year. This time he hands the ball off to Reed, spins his way through a couple of tackles, and finally is wrestled down by Mason McKenrick. Also in on the stop for the Blue Streaks was Reese Armstrong. Inside the red zone now, the Yellow Jackets continue this drive after stuffing the Blue Streaks on their first drive.
That's a great job there by running back Isaac Reed to keep his feet moving after contact, to be able to get that extra yards and convert for the first down.
So it's 1st and 10 from the John Carroll 19. Meglin with 3 targets out wide to his right. Brian Cook is the one that's standing on the number 20. He's all the way out by the sideline. Another run play. Reed takes it, stutters, and he's stuffed pretty quickly. Blue Streaks seemed like they were ready for a run on that one.
And early here, I know you can see a lot of Reed handoffs going on between Isaac Reed and Tyler Meglin, which where he's reading off the defensive end is where he gets a lot of his touchdowns and yardage off pulling those handoffs and running it himself.
So it's 2nd and 8 from the 17-yard line. Cook goes wide to the left as Tyler Wolf and Trevor George both go wide right. Blue Streaks with a 4-3 defensive look. BW trying to feel them out a little bit. That's Dylan Minnick, the tight end, in motion. Now 2 backs in the backfield. The ball is almost mishandled. Meglin going to try to throw it. Escapes pressure just for a minute, and then he's sacked. A John Carroll sack from Joe Nowalnik, the defensive end, a junior from Benedictine High School. That's a loss of 4 yards, and it brings up 3rd down and 12.
And definitely not something the Yellow Jackets want to see here. Senior left tackle Josh Lane appears to be limping on the field. The ref is going over to him, saying that he might have to go off of the field.
Well, apparently he'll have to come off for just one play. Obviously trying to run on adrenaline and stay in there, but he will pop out of the game. Josh Lane, a senior from Rootstown.
Kevin Jacobs will come in from him, the junior, 6'2", 235, out of Garfield Heights Trinity.
6:53 and counting here in the opening quarter as Baldwin Wallace tries to put the game's first points on the board. Meglin scouting out the defense. He's got 4 seconds to get it off and does. On 3rd and 12, he's throwing on the run. It's picked off. He certainly telegraphed that one all the way, and the Blue Streaks will take over after the interception. It came at the hands of Michael Hollins. He threw it right to him and down inside that 5-yard line.
Definitely, as you said, a little bit of telegraphing going on there by Tyler Meglin on that action fake. Rolls out. He wants to hit his favorite target, Tyler Wolf, on the corner pattern. Just a great job there by Michael Howell, dropping back and taking that interception, giving the Blue Streaks the ball here on the 17-yard line.
So the Blue Streaks will take over, and they avoid disaster after what they certainly felt was a decent drive to start the game. Pruitt takes the first handoff, and he is off to the races. Across midfield, down the left sideline, and finally gathered from behind. A mighty long run, and now flags flying everywhere. Well, the original line of scrimmage was the 17. Let's see where they eventually mark it. Couple of flags there after the tackle was made.
Just a little extracurricular activity there out of bounds. Definitely a little frustration there as Pruitt broke out for the long run, as BW possibly could have got a stop and maybe some good field position. John Carroll having the ball on the 17, but definitely not with that run now here. We'll see what the flag is.
Say if he's down at the 30, that would be a 53-yard burst by Pruitt, as John Carroll tries to rile up their fans over on the far side. Nico James, the one waving his arms in the air.
Definitely a touchdown-saving tackle there by Trip Washington, to say the least.
Without question.
Pruitt was off to the races there.
Well, let's see who the foul is on. Still sorting out where the ball will be spotted. Here's the call. Okay, they're saying that it's 2 dead ball personal fouls, 1 on each team, and those penalties offset. And so the ball will be spotted at the 30-yard line. And the Blue Streaks, after a 53-yard scamper, will take over 1st and 10 from the 30. Wow, what a change of momentum. An interception and then a 53-yard run.
Definitely gives John Carroll momentum here. And then the penalty there kind of stirs things up a little bit. And you know the emotions here in this game are flying in this intense rivalry here as we have 1st down here on the 30-yard line for the Blue Streaks.
Schaefer under center. This time it's Golphin off tackle left side. And he bursts forward for a 1st down. That's at least 11 yards. Looks like they'll put him down at the 19-yard line.
Definitely looks like we're going to see a little double dose action between Pruitt and Golphin getting the carries here today for the Blue Streaks. Definitely both very explosive backs, as we've seen little touches of them be able to break loose and maybe break the big one. 1st and 10 here, ball on the 19 for the Blue Streaks.
Pruitt, the tailback. He'll take the handoff and try to go over the left guard. He's down near the 17-yard line. Looks like he picked up 2 yards. So 3 runs on this possession for the Blue Streaks. 2nd down and 7. Well, John Carroll's returning unit on offense certainly would suggest that their strength is in their receiving core, but with a quarterback that isn't what the Blue Streaks have had the last couple years, they become more of a running team. Schaefer with a good throw to Jordan D'Orazio, and he's down around the 12-yard line. And that's not to knock Jake Schaefer. He's done a nice job for the Blue Streaks, and he got some time last year. But when you're talking about measuring yourself against a guy who is, as prolific and honestly playing at a different level as Mark Myers was. I mean, he was a Division I quarterback playing for a Division III team the last 3 years, and he broke records every year the last 3 years. You just can't measure yourself against that.
Yeah, big shoes to fill for Schaefer. Definitely playing behind Myers and seeing what he was able to do with this John Carroll offense. We'll see what he does here today.
Myers had transferred in from the University of Pittsburgh and immediately in his first game broke the school passing record. On 3rd and 3, Schaefer escapes trouble. Looking toward the end zone, fires it up. It's too far and over everybody's head. Looks like he was trying to find Michael Hippler in the back of the end zone. And now the Blue Streaks have a 4th and 3, and it looks like they'll bring on the field goal unit.
Yeah, pressure there from Jake Maurer coming from Schaefer's blind side. Pushes him out of the pocket and forces him to throw a contested pass, covered there by number 9, Brock Hall, and 26, Trip Washington for the Yellow Jackets.
So the Blue Streaks will attempt a field goal. Kick is on the way, and it's up and good. John Carroll with a 3-0 lead, and I suppose congratulations are in order for Matt Danko, his first career collegiate field goal. He was 0 for 1 prior to the kick and has hit 5 of 7 extra points. He, too, is replacing an All-American in Kresimir Ivkovic, who was the Blue Streaks kicker the last couple years. So John Carroll with 4:09 left in the first quarter takes a 3-0 lead.
Definitely seem to be a lot of role changes here, just speaking of different players having to come in and fill different roles. You spoke of Myers, the obviously great quarterback for the Blue Streaks, and then here the field goal kicker coming in and filling the shoes of an All-American. So definitely a different feel this year for the Blue Streaks, coaching-wise and personnel-wise.
Trying to do the math in my head real quick. That was a drive that took 2 minutes and 30 seconds and went just over 70 yards in 5 plays as the Blue Streaks tacked on the first points of the game. So now John Carroll will kick off.
Austin Smith and Trip Washington back deep for the Yellow Jackets.
John Carroll using a different player to kick off. No, I beg your pardon. This is Matt Danko. Ball bounces at the 12-yard line. A nice hole on the near sideline, and BW takes it all the way up to around the 42. Well, Danko is listed as wearing number 47 on our roster, not number 99, but he was the only player that had attempted a field goal, so we'll have to find out if maybe someone else kicked that field goal.
Maybe someone else's first field goal attempt.
It could certainly, if it's not Danko, it's definitely somebody else's first field goal attempt of the season, I can tell you that.
Congratulations still due to number 99.
So we'll figure out who that is here at our next opportunity.
Very explosive return there for Trip Washington on that return to give BW maybe the momentum that they need after throwing that pick deep in their own territory.
Washington, a sophomore from Orlando, Florida. So from the 42-yard line, BW takes over, 1st down and 10. Meglin from the gun with a couple wide receivers. This time he's going to flip the ball to Tyler Wolf to the right side. Wolf hurdles one defender and then is blasted by Andy Bryan down to the turf. He picks up 9.5 yards. It's 2nd down and short.
Andy Bryan, the former defensive lineman, move to middle linebacker after 3 years, making the tackle on that play right before the 1st down. It makes it 2nd and 1 for the Yellow Jackets.
So a good start to the drive for the BW Yellow Jackets. Meglin looking around, scrambling, and now he's hit and sacked. 2nd Blue Streak sack of the day, and their 14th of the year in what is just the 9th quarter of football for them.
And 6 sacks last week which I believe is the second in the country, along with their 12 tackles for loss there. So that defensive front for the Blue Streaks really gets after it there. Just a quick injury update. Josh Lang, the left tackle for the Yellow Jackets, is back in the game and appears to be fine.
So BW trying to get the new play out onto the field. Meglin using a motion man, 4 wide to the left. On 3rd and 4, looking upfield. Floats it high and deep. It's a jump ball. And a flag is thrown from behind as Reese Armstrong likely committed pass interference.
Definitely a handful of jersey there from Reese Armstrong, trying to avoid the big play pass intended for number 3, Trevor George, the receiver out of PA.
It is defensive pass interference. So the ball will mark 15 yards from the BW 48-yard line and certainly give them much better field position after it looked like for a minute there they might go 3 and out.
Definitely a bailout fail for Reese Armstrong. From my point of view, that ball did not look like it was something that he could have caught without that pass interference happening.
Well, the Blue Streaks have hurt themselves this year. They're averaging 10 penalties a game in their first couple. That one obviously a big one here. 2 minutes, 22 seconds left in the opening quarter. John Carroll 3, BW 0. Meglin with 4 receivers. Fakes the handoff to Smith and keeps it. He is the second leading rusher in the conference, and he's hit hard from behind. Clayton Evans with the diving tackle as Meglin scoots inside the 30. It's a 9-yard pickup down to the 28. 2nd and 1. Yellow Jackets scurry to the line. This time a handoff to Austin Smith, and he's down inside the 20. A nice carry of 8 or 9 yards, depending where they spot it, as the Blue Streaks try to get set quickly.
Very explosive run there by Austin Smith to continue to run after contact and gain that first down.
Meglin gets the snap off, looks to his left, now rolls right, and dumps it off. Caught in the flat by Cook. He's inside the 10 and smothered. First down and goal to go for the Yellow Jackets, who must like the matchups they have with the Blue Streaks out in the field, because they are trying like heck to get the play in quickly and get it off.
Definitely picking up the tempo here. As you see, they go to more of a hurry-up style offense here in the red zone.
First and goal from the 8. Meglin in the pistol. John Carroll tried to jump the snap count, but nobody crossed the line of scrimmage there. Plenty of time still, 15 seconds to get the play off. Smith, the running back. From 8 yards out, Meglin snaps the ball and hands it off. Smith diving to his right. He's down around the 5-yard line. A carry for 3 yards brings up 2nd down and 5.
Tyler Meglin, the quarterback, definitely doing an excellent job of maintaining the pace here, keeping it quick on the breaks for BW.
Now he fakes the handoff to Smith, throws a bullet left side, incomplete. Trevor George was too shy of the intended pass, so it's now 3rd and goal from the 5. Simonis loosening up here on the near sideline in case he's called on to try to kick an extra point. Meglin surveying the Blue Streak defense. On 3rd and goal, looks back to the sideline. Under a minute to play, 56 seconds here in the opening quarter.
He's got his favorite target, Tyler Wolf, on the short side of the field, one-on-one coverage.
Option play to the right. He fakes the pitch. He's hit and dives across for the score. Baldwin Wallace takes the first quarter lead with the game's first touchdown. Meglin, his big touchdown carry from 5 yards out. And it's a 6-3 contest.
As you mentioned, Meglin, the second leading rusher in the conference, the first leading rusher on this team, 275 yards, 6.7 yards per carry on the year, and that will make that his 4th touchdown. So he's definitely an elite weapon with his feet and with his arm at the quarterback position.
Simonis for the extra point. He got it. 5-yard touchdown run for the senior quarterback. Gives the Yellow Jackets the lead here at home, 7-3 with 51 seconds left in the opening quarter. An 8-play drive that went 58 yards and ended in a touchdown.
definitely what I spoke of. BW needed to do on that drive to gain momentum back here, drive the ball down the field with help from the Blue Streaks penalty, that pass interference that we saw earlier, and you spoke of those penalties that they're having per game, something that they can't do. Give the Yellow Jackets the chance to show off those explosive weapons that they have and bring the ball downfield for a touchdown.
Blue Jackets, you got your mind on hockey season.
Yeah, Blue Jackets.
Columbus finished off the year 12-0-1 last year, and they open up in 2 weeks. It should be a fun season for NHL fans in the Columbus area.
Thinking Ohio sports here. We're
That's
thinking
right.
Ohio sports.
Wind blowing a little bit from right to left, so Simonis has the wind at his back, but it's another short kick. They have no intention of giving the Blue Streaks any opportunity to rip off a big return. Well, John Carroll and BW a little bit physical after the play. I suppose the other side of the coin, if you don't want to kick it deep to Howell, you're going to give John Carroll good field position anyways, and they'll take it here right around the 38-yard line.
Ball marked at the 37. Definitely, you're looking at two different type of poisons there. You can kick it to Howell and let him bring it back for you, or you could just pick where they get the ball with the short chip kicks that Simonis has been doing early here today on this beautiful evening at Finnie Stadium.
So 1st and 10 for the Blue Streaks. Schaefer and John Carroll trailing 7-3 with 46 seconds left in the opening quarter. Jake is really pressured as he rolls right, and he dumps it away incomplete. Just trying to get rid of the football.
Pressure there coming
10.
From Anton Richardson and Sean Nishwitz. Something that I have seen a reoccurring theme with putting pressure here on Schaefer and making him make early decisions with the ball, not giving him time to sit back and pick apart this defense. Great way to bring pressure here with this D-line and defensive front here for the Yellow Jackets.
So 38 seconds left in the opening quarter. By the way, the field goal kicker for the Blue Streaks is now Jake Vivanetto, a sophomore from Gulf Coast High School in Naples, Florida. This is Pruitt taking it left side. He's already had a 53-yard burst today. This time picks up 9.5 yards. He is shy of the first down. We'll see where they put it. It looks like it'll be a full yard shy, so 3rd down and 1 coming.
Just some quick updates from that last drive. Tyler Megling right now 3 for 6, 34 yards. He's been sacked twice. Receiving, Brian Cook has 2 catches for 27 yards. Trevor George, 1 catch for 7 yards.
Blue Streaks could choose to run a play or not. There is just 2 seconds left in the quarter, and Schaefer says, all right, let's talk about it, and that'll end the first quarter. Well, good start for BW. They're pretty riled up against the number 10 ranked Blue Streaks, who are undefeated, 2-0 so far in the season, and of the 10 schools in the OAC, the only 2 that haven't lost a game yet are John Carroll and Mount Union. Both teams went to the national playoffs last year. Of course, Mount Union has been to the national championship game 175 years in a row or whatever it is now. The Blue Streaks bowed out in the national quarterfinals to the Purple Raiders last year. All kidding aside, Mount Union's been in the title game, I think, now 9 consecutive years.
Yes, I believe it is 9. Them and Whitewater, the usual D3 powerhouses.
Whitewater was on national TV earlier this week. I think they played on Thursday night against the number 1 team in the country from the NAIA. And the game was on ESPN3, and it was a pretty entertaining game. But Whitewater outlasted them, so they are still undefeated. These 2 teams will switch sides of the ball here.
And oh, how the Yellow Jackets would love to give John Carroll their first loss and continue this series of no team winning 3 games in a row, I believe, since 1943, you said?
It's been a long time.
Long time.
So on 3rd and 1, the second quarter will get underway with a short yard to gain for the Blue Streaks. Pruitt's got the first down. He wants more, but he's upended by a swarm of Yellow Jackets. Looked like the first to hit him was free safety Brock Hull out of Boardman High School. Pruitt with a modest carry, but plenty for the first down.
Modest for today, but definitely looks to be the theme here as he looks to have a big day here on the ground, as we can see early here in the first half.
That's his 6th carry of the game. He's pushing 80 yards on the ground so far, obviously 53 of those on 1 carry. But nonetheless, the feature back with now Stan Elad in the offset eye in the backfield. First and 10 for the Blue Streaks on the fake handoff. Schaefer's got all day and guns it toward Marshall Howell. He's got a catch as he ducks out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Howell picks up his first reception of the day.
Definitely what the Blue Streaks are looking for. You've got one-on-one coverage with your best receiver on the short side of the field. Play action pass, comeback route. Howard Dover on the coverage there. Just not quite enough on the comeback, as you kind of have to give Howell his space when he's pushing you vertical because you do not want to get beat deep. Second and short here for the Blue Streaks.
Marshall Howell has already approached a number of school records in a short time span. It is very likely he'll be the most accomplished receiver in school history by the time he graduates. This is Golphin racing to the outside. Boy, did he turn on the burners. Down to the 25-yard line. That's a 12-yard run and a Blue Streak first down.
Definitely a way to push the edge there for Golphin. As you said, turning on the burners, gets to that corner and kind of puts it on another level, picks up the first down for the Blue Streaks. We are seeing a lot of this two-headed monster that is Golphin and Pruitt out of the backfield for the Blue Streaks here today.
Golphin dots the eye of the tailback as Danny Disbro is his fullback. Schaefer going to feed the beast again. Golphin with two hands over protecting the football, picks up 5 yards. He was whacked pretty good by Trip Washington.
Trip Washington definitely coming down from that safety position. Him and Brock Hart, two safeties that are looking to deliver blows, come down hard on the run, and Trip Washington definitely the most talented player in that secondary, I would say.
Second down and 5 for the Blue Streaks. They are knocking on the door here, the red zone, right on the 20. They'll send a couple receivers out wide to the right. Howell and Nico James both out there. Pruitt back in the backfield. A fake handoff. Schaefer's got a target underneath. That's Michael Hippler as we've got a flag thrown. Hippler appears to have picked up the first down, but that flag is in the area of maybe an offensive holding call. We'll see.
Just a basic waggle concept there for the Blue Streaks. Rollout pass. And Schaefer hitting his tight end across the middle, David Ryan. Excuse me, that was Mike Hippler on the reception.
It's not a holding call, but instead too many men on the field for the Blue Streaks.
Penalties early here for the Blue Streaks. This penalty pushes them out of the red zone and puts that ball at what looks like the 25-yard line on the left hash.
Left hash to the 25 with 12:47 and counting here in the first half. Sets up second down and 10. Instead of picking up the first down, they lose 5 yards. So Schaefer will go back to work. Well, so far I've been fairly impressed with Jake Schaefer. Actually, it looks like he's done a pretty good job, and now the Blue Streaks will burn a timeout. Apparently, they weren't all on the same page. It looked like Stan Elad may have been the one that was running out to the flat on the right-hand side. I don't know if that was a mistake on his part or not, but nonetheless, first time out of the half is burned by either team. John Carroll trailing 7-3. First drive of the game, the Blue Streaks turned it over on downs, and Baldwin Wallace went all the way up the field. Darn near got in the end zone, but an interception by Michael Hollins inside the 5-yard line gave the Blue Streaks the football back. John Carroll then went all the way up the field and ended up with a 29-yard field goal on a 6-play, 71-yard drive for the Blue Streaks that ended with a John Carroll lead at 3-0. But Tyler Meglin and company answered right away. 8 plays and 58 yards later, a 5-yard run from senior quarterback Tyler Meglin gave the Blue Streaks back the deficit. And now Baldwin Wallace leads 7-3, 12 and a half minutes to go here in the opening half. And so far, Jason, this game has kind of lived up to what you'd hope to see in a Cuyahoga Gold Bowl.
Great football here. I'm loving it. I'm loving the atmosphere. Looking the players on the field, definitely everybody playing hard. Everybody wants to win.
BW's kind of neutralized a lot of John Carroll's threats. They've taken away the kicking game. They just need to do a better job here of defending the run. On second down and 10, Pruitt is in the backfield. Schaefer, a quick drop and follow left side. It's caught and out of bounds. Nice job there by Nico James. He is close to the first down. It sets up 3rd and 1.
Definitely maybe trying to get some rhythm here for their quarterback, going with the quick hitch option there on the short side of the field. Looks to be more confusion here on the John Carroll sideline.
Well, It's going to be more 3rd and 2 than 3rd and 1 here. They're going to say he stepped out right around the 17.
You got to be thinking run here for the Blue Streaks. Pruitt in the backfield.
It is an I backfield. 3rd and 2. A fake handoff. Schaefer looking toward Marshall Howell, and he overshoots him. Incomplete. Howell wanted a flag, but that was not a catchable pass. And so the Blue Streaks are faced with a 4th down and 2. They are in field goal range, but you wonder if they'll choose to kick or maybe try to pick up those couple yards.
Blue Streaks again go with that action pass. Howell on the wide side of the field, covered by Howard Dover, the sophomore corner out of Firestone. Attempting that comeback pattern. This time Howard Dover doesn't fall for it, breaks on the ball. That's nice coverage there by the sophomore cornerback.
Hard to tell early on if John Carroll doesn't trust their kicking game or if they're just trying to be more aggressive. The Blue Streaks with 4th and 2 from the 17 have 5 seconds to get the play off. 2 seconds. Schaefer gets it off in time. Throws to his right. It is not a good throw, and a vicious hit on the outside coming from Howard Dover. The Blue Streaks, for the 2nd time here in the first half, turn it over on downs, and that really fired up the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, I'm not sure Pruitt wanted to catch that ball. Big hit coming anyway. Great way to deliver the blow, and that's also a way to set the tone for this BW offense coming out. You see the sideline, everybody's hyped up, guys are jumping around. This Yellow Jacket offense is fired up here with a little momentum. 12-15 and counting left in this half.
Those are both fairly lengthy drives. The Blue Streaks with 9-play and 8-play drives that went a good chunk of the field, but both times turned over on downs. So BW gets the ball back with 12:15 here left in the second quarter, and they have it on the John Carroll 17-yard line.
Pass there complete to Brian Cook. Short over the middle throw by Meglin. Tackled by number 6, Mike Hollins on the outside almost immediately after the catch.
So it brings up 2nd down and 6. Just under 12 minutes left in the opening half. You know, we talk a lot about Tyler Meglin. I'm sure he's probably here, though I don't believe he's dressed on the far sideline. Tyler's younger brother, Anthony, plays football for John Carroll. He is a freshman for the Blue Streaks. I don't know if he's in attendance maybe with his parents, but I'm sure he's wearing blue and gold as opposed to brown and gold today. Good fake handoff, but the Blue Streaks did not bite. And Meglin is ripped to the turf here at the line of scrimmage. Nice tackle there defensively coming from Mike Tozzi, the defensive tackle. So it's now 3rd down and 6.
As you mentioned, Meglin's little brother, that's Anthony Meglin, definitely a player to be looking for here in the near future. Very prominent in high school and an athlete, as his older brother Tyler is.
So the Yellow Jackets looking to the near sideline. Yeah, the Meglins are from the Akron-Canton area. Both Tyler and Anthony both went to St. Thomas Aquinas High School. 3rd and 6 for the brown and gold. Tyler going to throw it. Good pocket. Wow, he's got great protection. Throws off balance, and it's incomplete far side. Pretty good coverage from Jared Donovan, but you got to give Meglin some credit there. He had time to throw the football and made the right decision, just couldn't connect with Tyler Wolf on the far side. And BW goes 3 and out after forcing the turnover on downs.
Definitely one of the pros of Meglin's game, I think, is not panicking when the pocket starts to shift around. Not necessarily collapse, but you saw there he moves around with the pocket and goes where he needs to go to still be able to look downfield and try to find receivers as he did there for his target, Tyler Wolf.
Austin Smith to punt. Jordan DeRazio waits, and he calls for a fair catch. And he'll bring it in right around the 37-yard line. So the Blue Streaks and Yellow Jackets have played a very back-and-forth game on this field. But believe it or not, that was our first punt of the ball game. We've had 2 turnovers on downs, a field goal, a touchdown, an interception, and now the game's first punt. As the Blue Streaks get the ball back, they'll start it with 10:30 left in the second quarter on their own 38.
This game adopting the Pong style of play with the back and forth here. 7-3. Nice defense being played. Consistent offense.
Jake Schaefer goes under center here to start the drive. If you tuned in a little late, I'm Brendan Gulick, Jason Lacey alongside. Schaefer going to hand off the football. Pruitt had it nearly stripped away, but was able to maintain possession. He picks up 5 on that first down carry. 2nd and 5 from the 43.
Definitely see the Blue Streaks going more towards Pruitt here than they were with Goff. And as they were earlier in the game, Pruitt seems to be getting the majority of the carries, but I definitely look to see that rotation continue as this game goes. That's a great plan of attack for the Blue Streaks here.
John Carroll clearly committed to running the football today, but Schaefer has looked good in the air as well. On 2nd and 5, he'll air it out. Throws it deep, looking for Howell in stride, and Howell dropped it. Oh, my goodness. He had 6 on his mind, and all he needed to do was catch the football. The former OAC Player of the Week and one of the more dangerous deep threats in all the conference. Schaefer delivered a nice ball, but Howell couldn't hang on. It's 3rd down and 5.
He was thinking end zone. He was thinking 6, as you said. That would have definitely been a touchdown, as he had number 33, Howard Dover, beat on the post pattern. Got to convert on those. Makes it 3rd and 5 from the 43 here for the Blue Streaks.
It's a tough break for the Blue Streaks, and you would think, given where they are and trailing in the game 7-3, that they would probably punt if they were stopped here. Schaefer going to throw again, this time over the middle, and it's incomplete again. This time looking for Mark Bainowitz. And the pass was just a little high and wide as the Blue Streaks do bring on the punting unit. Kyle Rodriguez comes on, both teams with back-to-back 3-and-outs.
Trip Washington on the coverage there over the middle. That ball just a little bit out of the reach of the receiver there. Schaefer could have got that ball down a little bit more, but that's also due to the pressure that this defensive line for the Yellow Jackets has been applying with that front 4.
So Rodriguez boots it away. Austin Smith from the 22, and he steps out of bounds right around the 30-yard line.
I like that. Run up and attack the ball. No fair catch. Get yourself an extra 5 or 6 yards there. I believe that ball is spotted at the 39.
No, it won't be quite that far.
Well, no,
I think he stepped
walk
out
back.
at
Yeah, 32.
32-yard line.
32.
9:31. That drive for the Blue Streaks lasted a whopping 59 seconds as they went 3 and out.
Yellow Jackets come out at receiver. Cook, Wagner, George, and Fuller. Smith in the backfield.
Lots of options for Meglin here on 1st and 10 as we get closer to halftime in a 7-3 game where the Blue see, I just did it too. The Blue Streaks trailing the Yellow Jackets.
We're ready for hockey season here.
I guess. Meglin clapping for the ball. Throws near side and caught. Tommy Fuller out of bounds. He is really close to a 1st down. Now there is a flag thrown on the far side of the field, so while everyone here is trying to move quickly, I think they're going to call an illegal shift against BW. That will negate what was a pretty good play.
That will be a bummer. That was a great catch by Tommy Fuller, remaining focused, being able to get his feet in bounds and holding on to the ball after a nice hit. And that is what it is against the Yellow Jackets.
So it's not really what they had in mind.
1st and 15 here.
Ball's put back on their own 27. Baldwin Wallace has lost the last 2 years to John Carroll, and they have both been decisive affairs, 27-7 and 45-7. That was the largest margin of victory for John Carroll in the entire series history. But this one, a much closer game that BW leads early on. Meglin tried to run up the gut, but he was met quickly by Dante West, who is a monster on that defensive line.
Definitely looking to hold Meglin here in check today. Hasn't been able to get it loose here from that defensive line, which, as you spoke of, is monstrous there. 6 sacks last week, as I said. Definitely getting after it here and not letting Meglin get loose. As we have 8:38 and counting here in the second half. Yellow Jackets 3, Blue Streaks. Yellow Jackets 7, Blue Streaks 3.
Baldwin Wallace
My
on
apologies.
top here.
Yeah, Baldwin Wallace is on top here.
Meglin from the gun, 2nd down and 12. He fakes the reverse, and he'll roll out to the right, dump it underneath. This is Smith on the catch. Nice job sidestepping a couple tacklers. He gets up to the 38-yard line, maybe the 39. Still a third down opportunity here, but as we mentioned earlier, that hasn't really bothered BW too much this year. They've been great on third downs.
Great play call there on the screen, taking advantage of the aggressive defensive line that I just spoke of, letting their momentum push them out of that play and taking away a big chunk of that yardage, making it 3rd and 3 here. Definitely manageable for the Yellow Jackets.
They need the 42 to move the sticks. 7:42 left in the first half with BW ahead 7-3. This time it's Meglin on the keeper. He's got a lot of room to run. All the way into Blue Streak territory down to the 42-yard line.
I believe I just jinxed the Blue Streaks defense as I just spoke of them, keeping Meglin under control. He breaks out and converts that first down. Crazy burst of speed there for Meglin. What an athlete he is at that quarterback position.
19-yard run. That's his longest carry of the ball game for the conference's second leading rusher. Meglin averaging certainly more yards on the ground than he is in the air. He ran for 137.5 yards per game. Ran for $157 last week. Wow, Michael Hollins was coming quick. And Reese Armstrong there on defense never really put his hands out to try to pick that off. You could hear the Yellow Jackets coaching staff in the box next to us take a huge sigh of relief.
Sigh of release, and may have gotten away with what could have been Tyler Meglin's second pick. Here as we see him split out wide, and Austin Smith again goes to take this snap out of the shotgun.
Yellow Jackets looking good in their home opener so far. This is Smith in the Wildcat. Moving Wolf in motion. Smith keeps it left side. And he uses his backside to lean forward. He picks up about 3 yards. Call it 3rd down and 7.
Constant formation we see in there with Austin Smith going into the shotgun. They bring in number 41, the running back / fullback, Brett Zupanik, for blocking purposes there as Meglin returns to the quarterback position for this 3rd down play.
Ball is on the 40-yard line. 6:25 left in the first half. 4 targets for Meglin. And 1 running back next to him.
See a blitz coming here maybe?
And Blue Streak certainly trying to show that. Now they all back off. Tyler running around. Now he just lobs it up out of bounds, far left side. You know, that's probably the first time all game that he looks like he's panicked.
Yeah, as I spoke of before, great job of keeping his composure there in the pocket. That also may have been one of the only times that pocket did collapse for him, where he didn't have a consistent pocket that he could sit back in and go through his reads, which resulted in what you said, the ball being thrown away.
Okay, now BW looks like they're going to go for it, but remember, Austin Smith is the team's punter, and he's in the ball game in front of Meglin. Meglin with a pooch punt, and it goes out of bounds on the near side, so it does result in a punt. After the drive went 7 plays for Baldwin Wallace, they did pick up 1 first down.
Defense standing strong here, still 7-3. That's a great stop there for the Blue Streaks. Again, with the Blue Jackets, what's going on here today?
John Carroll takes over after a 14-yard punt. Ball is on the 26. 5:59 left in the first half. Schaefer under center. Hands the football off. And Pruitt picks up a couple.
Sam Groff, their team's second leading tackle, 17 coming into the day, making the tackle from the MAC linebacker spot. Definitely one of the anchors for the BW's defense in the linebacker position. Moves around from middle linebacker to outside linebacker and definitely does a good job of attacking the ball. As I mentioned, with those 2 safeties, Hall and Washington, they do a great job of coming up on the run.
Looks like Howard Dover and Marshall Howell are going to go one-on-one out wide to the right. Schaefer, though, looking left. He throws short to the tight end Hippler. And he's driven out of bounds by a couple of Yellow Jackets. First one to hit him there for Baldwin Wallace. That was Sam Groff, the outside linebacker.
That is a big target at tight end, 6'4", 230-pound junior out of Westerville, Ohio. That is number 89, Michael Hippler, who just made that catch.
Yeah, Blue Streaks lost 2 tight ends last year in Zach Strippy and Brendan Carazoni, who were just unbelievable tight ends. But they've got a couple good ones they've replaced them with this year as Golphin takes the pitch and races to the outside. Boy, Ro Golphin's a lot quicker than you might think he is at that stature.
Definitely has another gear that he turns on while he's running the ball. He's patient through the holes, which is good for a running back. Let those holes develop, and once he gets through that hole and gets to the second level, you can see him turn on that burst of speed.
It's a 6-yard pickup, 2nd down and 4. Today's Yellow Jacket football game brought to you by Dan Andrews and Olympic Forest Products. They're a global recycling company. Certainly appreciate their support here at Baldwin Wallace. 4:20 left in the first half, another running play. And a nice job there defensively by BW to hit him right around the line of scrimmage.
That was
Jake Maurer was the first one to wrap him up.
Jake Maurer and Andrew Schultz, 2 players that are key on the Yellow Jacket defensive line, along with Lawrence Wolf and N. Harmon. Schultz does a great job off that defensive end position, kind of a slimmer defensive end, very quick, that can beat those tackles on the edge and puts a lot of pressure on that quarterback. And Jake Maurer, who just had that tackle from the tackle position, definitely does a good job of plugging the middle for that BW defensive line.
Schaefer all by himself. 3:38 left in the first half. Blue Streaks down 7-3. Schaefer throws, far side, it's caught. Brian Kornowski on the catch. Did he pick up the first down, though?
He appeared to be a little short to me. We'll see how the ref spots it.
Yeah, I think he's going to be just about a yard short. You're right. 4th down and 1. The Blue Streaks will look like they're going to punt it away here. Now they're going to bring on Kyle Rodriguez. Rodriguez did punt for the Blue Streaks last year, although he wasn't called upon very often. But he was the 3rd best punter in the conference in terms of net punting yards. John Carroll gets the right unit out there.
Trip Washington back deep, who we saw with a explosive kick return earlier in the game. We'll see if he can make a play here for the Yellow Jackets.
4 straight punts as Rodriguez booms one into the end zone. And we've got a touchback. So after some exciting exchanges in the first 5 possessions of the game, each team has punted on their last 2 offensive tries, and we've still got a 7-3 contest, no scoring here in the second quarter. BW takes over with a full arsenal of timeouts and 3:24 left before halftime. And remember, they deferred the opening kickoff, so they'll get the ball to start the second half.
We'll see how BW comes out with this drive. As you mentioned, starting on 20 with the touchback. Let's see if they can go ahead and put 14 on the board, or maybe even a field goal drive down the field and actually convert with one of these no punts.
Meglin from the gun. Fakes the handoff. He'll throw. Tyler hit and dropped. 3rd sack of the day for the Blue Streaks on defense.
That looked like number 55, David Porter, on the sack. One of their prominent players off the defensive line.
Him and Ray Brown, the defensive end, a junior from St. Ignatius. He was able to swallow him up as well. First play of the drive didn't go as they had intended. A 5-yard loss, 2nd and 15.
Ray Brown, 2.5 sacks, 5.5 tackles for loss this year. So definitely a beast in those trenches.
Yeah, that defensive line for John Carroll really pretty darn good. 2nd and 15, a motion man. That's Trevor George. Meglin looking to air it out. He's hit again, and 2 straight sacks. That time Porter got him first, and Brown finished him off. Another 5-yard loss.
They taking turns there with Meglin to see who can get to him first. This defensive line putting the pressure on Tyler Meglin, who had Tommy Fuller across the middle on a crossing pattern wide open.
Blue Streaks relying on that defensive front to step up here for them when they need it. Meanwhile, Baldwin Wallace, who's had a lot of the momentum and energy in this ballgame on their side, seems a little flat at the moment. 2:05 left in the first half. The Blue Streaks with 2 timeouts left. They're choosing not to use one of those 2 here to maybe stop the clock. 3rd and 20. Meglin has to protect the football here from his own 10. He's going to run it to the near side. Well, that's a good, smart play by Meglin, because what it forces him to do is he stays in bounds and he makes John Carroll burn one of those timeouts with 1:42 left here in the first half. That's a good play call by the Yellow Jackets as well. Just make sure you get something to run the clock, give yourself a little room to punt.
And stay in bounds, the most important thing. Protect the ball, as you said before the snap, and stay in bounds. Good, smart play here. Minute 42 left on the clock, and the Blue Streaks will get that ball back.
So it ends up being a net of minus 4 yards on that little drive. They will put 3 additional seconds back on the clock, call it 1:45 here left in the half.
And this is the punting unit coming out to the field just to assure Austin Smith back for the punt.
Jordan DeRazio has returned 5 punts on the year. The last one was a fair catch. He's averaging 16.5 yards per return. He's been the Blue Streaks deep man for the last couple seasons. DeRazio is an electrifying player in the open field from Cuyahoga Heights High School. Austin Smith on to punt it away from inside his own 5-yard line.
DeRazio definitely was an impact player last year in the Blue Streaks Yellow Jackets meeting from the receiver position. Him along with Howell making some explosive plays, and obviously Aramis Greenwood for the Blue Streaks with them coming out with that 27-7 win over top of the Yellow Jackets last year.
The game clock still has not been reset to 1:45. They are trying to fix that, so that's the reason for our slight delay.
Well, that's not it. 14:50.
7-3, Baldwin Wallace on top. They scored on a 5-yard touchdown run from Tyler Meglin back toward the end of the first quarter. There was less than a minute left as the game clock has now been fixed. That was immediately after a John Carroll field goal. It accounted for the first points of the game. Smith to punt. And whistles are blown. Smith punts it away anyways, just for fun.
So they reset the clock again.
Okay, there was a clock operator error. The head referee, Steve Grove, said that he had signaled for the clock to start rolling right away, and he shouldn't have. It will roll on the snap. So that's why we stopped. And now we'll have a punt. This one for Smith was not nearly as good as the one that he just did for fun. It rolls out of bounds at the BW 48-yard line. 1:37 left in the half.
Smith definitely wish he could have took that first kick that didn't count.
That's 6 straight punts now between the two teams. The Blue Streaks take over. 1st and 10. They'll call it from the 49-yard line.
We're seeing this matchup up top, which I think will be the matchup here for the day. Howell and Dover to the far side of the field.
John Carroll with 1 timeout left. Schaefer looks far side. He gets it to DeRazio. Jordan spins away from a couple tackles. Boy, looked like he was wrapped up, and then all of a sudden he just shot right through. That's a huge gain for the Blue Streaks on a play that should have been killed after about 3 or 4 yards.
And also important there, he got out of bounds, stopping the clock. It still stops for the first down, but still getting out of bounds, keeping that clock stopped.
All the way down to the 34-yard line. That's a 15-yard gain with 1:28 to go. John Carroll would love to at least get some points before the halftime intermission here, given that they've only had a field goal to show for their efforts today.
What a great run after the catch.
That certainly was. That was an impressive play. Schaefer, quick drop, throws right, and it was scooped off the turf and bobbled and then dropped. Dover nearly had himself a timely interception. 2nd down.
That pass intended for Nico James just didn't quite get his head around quick enough. Schaefer was looking to throw that ball immediately. James wasn't looking for the ball immediately and almost resulted in a pick for Howard Dover.
Burdorf just checked out of the game defensively. Tyler is a senior linebacker from Paynesville Riverside High School out on the east side. 2nd and 10 for the Blue Streaks. $1:24 left in the half. 7-3 Yellow Jackets. Schaefer. 5-step drop and a deep throw left side looking for DeRazio. Incomplete. Jordan was hoping for a flag. He doesn't get it. That was pretty good coverage. Hip to hip all the way. Jake Carner was right there with him. 3rd down. You wonder what the Blue Streaks will do here. They were committed to the running game early on, but they've kind of gotten away from that here. They do have a timeout left, and you would think now at 3rd and 10, they would probably continue to try to throw the football still, right?
Definitely got to still throw the ball here. 3rd and long here, minute 18 left to go. You've got your favorite receiver, Marshall Howell, to the wide side of the field, one-on-one coverage.
Schaefer dumps off a screen pass to Golphin. He's got blockers, and he's all the way inside the 20. Holy smokes, look at that kid go down to the 15-yard line.
What a run.
Where did that come from?
What a run. Here I'm thinking they're going deep. As soon as the ball snapped, I know screens coming as there's a yellow jacket appears to be Kerry Sparrow, the cornerback out of Florida, sophomore corner for the Yellow Jackets, down on the field. But again, what a great call on the screenplay.
Wow, it sure was. And you got a chance there to see Golphin when he gets in the open field and turns it on. Man, that kid can accelerate. So Sparrow is attended to. That'll give us a chance here to thank some of our sponsors. Today's game brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call us in Berea at 440-891-0030 or go online at Domino's.com. Also brought to you by the Oriole Cafe, a great place for sports. We're located at 294 North Rocky River Drive, just 2 minutes away here from Baldwin Wallace's campus. And finally, by the Hoffman Group, for all of your insurance and risk management needs, call the Hoffman Group today. So Sparrow being attended to down on the field. Kerry has been kind of an important piece for this defense and certainly wouldn't want to be a guy you'd lose. Yeah, and the other thing there that is obviously a side effect of what's going on here, this basically is a free timeout for John Carroll. They get a chance to talk about some things.
Figure out some plays, maybe some trickery here, and this doesn't look good for Sparrow, not applying any pressure to what appears to be a right leg injury. In for him will be number 20, Nate Furster, the senior cornerback.
1st and 10 as the Blue Streaks put 5 wide receivers out there. One of those on the near left side is Golphin, the running back. Schaefer with a 4-man rush. Over the middle, looking for Howell, and a great defensive deflection. Howell even tapped him on the shoulder and said, nice play. Trip Washington saved a touchdown. It's 2nd and 10.
And that defensive play may be more of a distraction than a pass breakup. That ball still possibly catchable by Howell, maybe. He's got to have great focus there, but still, nonetheless, great defensive play there by Washington.
Well, I think it was catchable. It was just a little behind him.
Yeah, a little behind him. Better throw, a little less defense, could be a touchdown.
2nd and 10. Clock stops with 55 seconds left before halftime. Golphin wide left now after he motions out, and John Carroll will burn their final timeout. Tom Arth a little animated as he came off the sideline with some frustration as the team gathers around him. His hands are on his hips, and you certainly get the sense that he wasn't too happy with the way things were lined up there. Obviously can't sacrifice an opportunity here.
Definitely here. You've got the ball on the 14-yard line here. If I'm the Blue Streaks, I'm thinking score. You kick a field goal here. You go into the locker room 6-7. Definitely not what you want to go down 1 point. You want to score here, and that's what he's definitely telling his team here now. We need to score. This has got to be a touchdown. And as the Yellow Jackets defensive coordinators are speaking to them, you've got to hold your water here. Everybody just do everything that they're supposed to do, as they have been doing, holding the Blue Streaks here to 3 points in this first half.
You know, this John Carroll team, for as good as they had been the last couple years, you're starting to wonder if maybe they just kind of lucked into having one of the best quarterbacks in the country, because right now I think you could make a pretty good argument that they don't look like the number 10 team in the country. They've done some good things, and their defense has been okay today. But offensively, they've got a lot of work to do. They got to get the ball in the end zone more.
Yeah, definitely struggling here on offense in the first half.
BW's met their challenge. Schaefer with a shovel pass to Pruitt. He's up inside the 10-yard line. Boy, Jake Schaefer took a mighty good hit. Now, that's not a first down, so the clock will continue to tick away at 43 seconds. And it sets up 2nd down and a short 3 or 4 yards. Schaefer got his team, I thought, set. And apparently the far side official didn't agree.
Didn't let BW sub onto the field.
I didn't think John Carroll brought a sub on, though, did they? I thought they had
I
the same.
I didn't see a sub for John Carroll. I saw 2 linemen run on for BW. I thought that's what the penalty was for, and we'll figure out here.
Yeah, well, I was going to say if the offense gets to the line of scrimmage and doesn't bring a new player on, then they don't have to let the defense.
Don't have to wait. So the real question was the offense set?
Yeah, I think the penalty here is that they weren't set at the line of scrimmage. The penalty goes on Baldwin Wallace. It's a substitution infraction on the defense. So you noted that 2 linemen were a little late coming on, and that was the problem.
Yep. So the offense was set. The linemen were late coming on, and Coach Snell can't be happy with that penalty, something you cannot afford here.
So it should be 2nd down, not 3rd down.
And Coach Snell is on the field here at the numbers.
Yeah, they're going to call.
BW's going to call a timeout. I think he might have called that timeout just to give the ref a little piece of his mind.
Well, on top of that, maybe just to make sure his defense has its wits about it too. And actually, because of where the ball had been placed prior to that foul, the infraction moves the new line of scrimmage past the 1st down marker, so it's actually going to be 1st and goal for the Blue Streaks.
Wow.
And they'll put the ball just outside the 3-yard line.
Definitely a turn in hands there with just 1 penalty.
Yeah, that was a tough break for BW. I don't know, maybe if someone on the near sideline thought John Carroll was subbing in, and so they had time to run out a couple of guys onto the field, but I guess you give John Carroll credit for recognizing that they had too many men on the field and they got the playoff quickly.
Yeah, definitely something I saw Schaefer do, trying to hurry up and rush that shap, seeing that, okay, we're set here and they're not. We can snap the ball here and get that penalty, which they did. That's great awareness by their quarterback.
Well, let's set the scene for you here. It's 7-3, Baldwin Wallace on top. John Carroll took the first possession of the game and turned it over on downs after a fairly long drive. BW went all the way back up the field and threw an interception. Then the Blue Streaks hit a field goal. Baldwin Wallace had a 5-yard touchdown run, and since then we've had a turnover on downs and 6 straight punts. So the Blue Streaks trying to punch it in the end zone with 35 seconds left before halftime. A throw toward the right side. DeRazio's got it, and he's in. Touchdown, John Carroll.
Wide open there. Had some coverage there towards the end of the play, but right when he came off the line of scrimmage, he was open, and that's what Schaefer was thinking that whole play. That was a little bit too easy for the Blue Streaks offense. As that makes this game 9-7 here, awaiting the extra point from the Blue Streaks. 30 seconds left in the half. The extra point is up, and it is good. That makes the score 10-7 here. The Blue Streaks lead with 30 seconds left here in the first half at George Finnie Stadium.
John Carroll scores on a 7-play, 49-yard drive. Took 1 minute and 7 seconds, a 3-yard touchdown pass to Zach DeRazio. So the first Blue Streak touchdown of the ball game. And that's a big one for them, not only because they need something to feel good about going into the locker room, but as we mentioned, Baldwin Wallace gets the ball to start the second half. They've still got 2 timeouts and 30 seconds to work with here. You never know. I mean, we've seen one long play today. That was a Blue Streak run, but Tyler Meglin's got the kind of wherewithal to make big things happen. You never know.
Definitely. With an explosive quarterback with Meglin under center, you never know what could happen through the air, with his legs. Anything could happen here. 30 seconds left.
So freshman Matt Danko is going to go in to kick away. Theodore Washington is back deep to the far side. Near side back deep, Austin Smith. The kick goes the way of Washington from his 12. Tries to reverse his field. Couple flags are thrown, and Washington is creamed. Boy, the Blue Streaks got down there quickly. That was DeRazio with a big hit.
Comes through with a touchdown and then a crucial tackle there on kickoff. Maybe if he doesn't make that tackle, Theodore Washington could get out into the field, which he was looking to do. There is, however, laundry on the field.
Yeah, a couple of flags. It's an illegal block in the back on the Yellow Jackets. Time of possession's been pretty even in this ball game. I mean, really, if you look at the stats, the numbers are very balanced. John Carroll certainly with more yards of offense. Baldwin Wallace, with the exception of their one touchdown drive, hasn't moved the ball all that much. Meglin's run it 11 times for 44 yards of gain, but he's been sacked a couple times, so he's only got 27 net yards as he takes a knee to run out the clock. Austin Smith, 4 carries, 25 yards. Isaac Reed, 3 carries for 14. Meglin, 5 of 11 through the air for 48 yards. He has been sacked 4 times, as that Blue Streak defensive line has done a nice job. On the offensive side for the Blue Streaks, Aaron Pruitt, 9 carries for 90 yards. Roe Golphin, 4 carries for 33. Jake Schaefer, 12 for 24 in the first half for 89 yards, and that 3-yard touchdown. So Baldwin Wallace will finish up the first half with that one kneel down. That's all they need, and we'll go into the locker room with a tightly contested Cuyahoga Gold Bowl. John Carroll leading 10-7, the number 10 ranked Blue Streaks on the road, looking for their 3rd consecutive win in this series. But BW giving them all they can handle right now. Jason, it's been a really good game.
Definitely 7-10 here. John Carroll up by only 3. You've got to think BW isn't as, I wouldn't say satisfied with being down by 3, but it could be worse, and they've done a good job. As you said, looking at the stats, this game is evenly contested. The only thing I would say for BW would be on the offense and defensive line. On the defensive line, continue the pressure on the Schaefer, but you've got to clog that middle. Aaron Pruitt, 9 rushes, 90 yards, 10 yards per rush. That's something that can't happen in the second half. First half, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Total yards of offense, Baldwin Wallace 30 plays for 123 yards. John Carroll 38 plays for 219 yards. Blue Streaks were 3 of 8 on third down. Baldwin Wallace continues to be impressive on third down. They are 4 of 8 on third down conversions. All right, so that'll wrap up some of the first half stats for you as we conclude our first half coverage of Baldwin Wallace and John Carroll here on BW's home opener this season. 1-1 on the year, trying to get to 2-1 and get to a big important 2-0 in the conference. Blue Streaks looking to stay undefeated here in OAC play. We'll step aside for about 20 minutes or so, come back with second half action. John Carroll 10, Baldwin Wallace 7 at the intermission. We'll be back after this on BWYellowJackets.com. Back at George Finnie Stadium. Back at George Finnie Stadium on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. We are ready for the second half of the Cuyahoga Gold Bowl here in 2015. And we've got a really good ball game going on. The BW Yellow Jackets playing at home, trailing 10-7 to the 10th-ranked team in the country, the John Carroll Blue Streaks, who will kick off here to start the second half. This is Matt Danko kicking deep for John Carroll, and Trip Washington to take the kick from his own 14-yard line. A fake reverse, and he almost paid for it. Was able to get out of one tackle. Now we got a flag on the field. It could be a hold. We'll have to wait and see. Well, BW kind of stuttered after their touchdown drive. In the ensuing drives they had since, or I should say after that, got an illegal block in the back on the punt. Or I'm sorry, in the kick return. In the drives they had after their 5-yard touchdown drive, they punted 1, 2, 3 times, and then they kneeled down to end the half. So certainly not really what they had in mind, and the only other drive they had was the one just prior to the touchdown drive. It was a nice drive they pieced together, but they threw an interception inside the 5-yard line and kind of shot themselves in the foot. So they'll start this drive here to start the second half with 14:52 on the clock, and they'll start from their own 6-yard line.
Definitely look to regain momentum here in this half. Figure things out with the offense and went back to the locker room, worked a few kinks out. We'll see what they come out with in this second half.
Tyler Meglin, the senior, wants someone in motion. He just barely gets the play off in time, and the Blue Streaks' defensive front does a good job of getting to Austin Smith quickly. Actually, that's not Austin Smith.
That's Adam Blake.
Running the football. That's Adam Blake. You're right. So a slightly different look. Blake, that's his first carry of the ball game. Brings up second down and about 7 yards. Meglin from the gun. This time, he hands it again. And an immediate tackle as Blake dove across the line of scrimmage. That time it was Blue Streak defensive back Javon Dawson on the stop. Meglin hurries to the line. They get the play off. Another handoff. The Blue Streaks stuff him right at the line of scrimmage. We'll see if he got enough for the first down. He needed the 17, and he got it.
A little bit more of that hurry-up tempo that we saw in the first half, getting everybody back to the line, getting the play called, and converting the first down. That makes it 1st and 10. Ball is on the 17-yard line, I believe.
So the Yellow Jackets once again move the chains on a 3rd down. Today's game brought to you by the Ohio Education Credit Union. Gain the advantage. The Ohio Education Credit Union offers convenience, trust, and value. Build your future today. Couple of guys in motion for BW. Now a 3rd man in motion, and they'll pitch it. This is George running near side, rather Tyler Wolf near side. He's out of bounds, close to the first down marker at the 26 or 27-yard line. We'll see where they put it down.
Tyler Wolf, the junior receiver out of Fremont, Toledo, definitely a weapon in the BW offense I feel that they can use through the air. You see him, this is 2nd carry on the jet sweep on the ground, so definitely a weapon that BW should use and work into the offensive game plan in this second half.
It was a 10-yard carry. Ball is on the 27, 1st and 10, Yellow Jackets. Another run up the middle. Well, Baldwin Wallace clearly committed to running the football here in the second half so far as we get a very late flag thrown in. John Carroll clapping as if the penalty is on Baldwin Wallace. I got to admit, I didn't see anything, but Josh Lane, the right tackle, or beg your pardon, the left tackle for Baldwin Wallace, appears to be pretty riled up right now, and it is a personal foul called against BW. I didn't see what happened, but 15-yard penalties will kill you. It is now 2nd and a long way. It was a dead ball penalty, so it is still 2nd down.
Penalties killer here in this game, both proven for both teams. Got to keep the ball clean, no sloppy ball, no shooting yourself in the foot, especially with a game close like this.
2nd and 21 from their own 16. Meglin keeps it this time. Thought he had a hole. And the Blue Streaks came flying to the football. Meglin was never tackled, but the forward progress was stopped, so the play was blown dead after he picked up 4.
Looked to be frustrated that the ref blew him dead, puts his hands on his hip at the end of the play and gives him that look as to say, come on, man.
So it'll be 3rd down and 18. Under 12 minutes left in the third quarter. 10-7 Blue Streaks. Meglin to his right. He evades a little pressure. Now puts on the brakes and tried to run back in, and he ran right into one of his linemen, and he got hit in the head. Meglin's helmet popped off, and his left hand, which was not carrying the ball, immediately went to his head. He got popped pretty good. Tyler probably would have been better off either running out of bounds or just throwing that ball away. Instead, he took an unnecessary big hit. So that drive picked up a first down, but really made BW feel like they went backwards more than anything else. Drive stalls, and they'll punt. Smith boots it away. It's a high, fairly short kick. DeRazio calling for a rare catch, and he's got it at his own 47-yard line.
Nothing you want to see on the offensive side when you have your quarterback going down around multiple players with his helmet off. As you said, something he could have definitely went out of bounds with it, tried to scramble back into the pocket, ran into his own lineman, number 52, Andrew Sorosky. The result of that play would be that 4th down punt, and John Carroll ball here on the 47, 1st and 10.
Well, it just goes to show you how much that personal foul penalty really hurt them that time. 1st and 10 from their own 47. Pruitt, and he's hit.
That's Lawrence Wolf, the senior defensive tackle, academic All-American last year. Makes it 2nd and 11 on the 46-yard line for the Blue Streaks.
Big play there from Wolf, certainly to stall the first play of the drive. Anytime you can hold your opponent to negative yardage on the first play of the drive, boy, that's a real big momentum swing.
Oh, yeah. Definitely a back that's got 90 yards in the first half, too.
Pruitt, 9 carries for 90 yards in that first half. This time Howell, a short pass right side. And he's out of bounds around midfield, maybe just a hair after midfield. So 3rd down and about 6 yards. They'll put him just inside the 49.
Looking to maybe get Howell involved in the game in a different way than a deep threat. Get him a couple screens. Let him make some plays with his feet. But that time, stopped short. Number 33, Howard Dover, who's having a great game. Coverage rise in that secondary for the Yellow Jackets.
Perfect day. 75 degrees, very little wind to speak of, and no humidity whatsoever. Very comfortable day for football here in late September. 10-7 Blue Streaks, 3rd and 6. Good pickup block in the backfield gives Schaefer time. His throw is high and caught. And I think it was maybe a little bit of good fortune there for BW. I think Brock Hall got lucky. He didn't get called for targeting as he went kind of headhunting there for Jordan DeRazio.
And that's a great way of that receiver to catch that ball up top and get into what we call the gopher hole. Catch the ball and get low. Don't leave yourself open for any hits like that, what that possibly could have been by Brock Hall, as we have 1st down here for the Blue Streaks.
4th play of the drive is a Pruitt handoff. And he rumbles his way through the middle of the line of scrimmage for a good pickup on 1st down. Lots of applause from the far sideline, both fans and from the coaching staff and players. 2nd down, 5 to go. Slightly new unit on the field. Roe Golphin will come in as the lead tailback. Howell wide to the left. It'll be Nico James to the right. He's got those highlighter-colored cleats on. And Stan Elad is the fullback. 9:02 left in the 3rd quarter. A pitch to Golphin outside. They try to contain him. And somehow he keeps the corner and tiptoes along the sideline. You cannot let that kid get an open field.
That was just a power sweep there. Give credit on that run to number 24, Stan Elad. Sets the edge at the fullback position, goes out, seals that defensive end in, and gives Golphin room to hit that corner as he does so swiftly and pick up that first down for the Blue Streaks offense.
Man, on a play that looked like it didn't really have much going for it, he turned it into an 11-yard carry as he raced up that sideline.
Speed is a killer.
Sure is. 1st and 10 from the 21. They fake the hand. No, I'm sorry, they give it to Golphin. He stays low and bounces his way toward the 16 for another 5-yard pickup. I'll tell you what, if the Blue Streaks continue to run the football like this, there's no reason to throw it.
And they haven't really thrown it yet on this drive. I think they have
a
two
short pass here, yeah.
Short pass here to Howell, and then the one across the middle to, I believe that was Nico James. So, I mean, no need to really go through the air when you're running games looking as consistent, and you can keep 2 fresh backs in the game like they are.
2nd and 5 from the 16. Pruitt this time spins out of a tackle, but the Yellow Jackets get to the football, and a nice job from Howard Dover finishing him off. Brings up 3rd down and 5. No gain on the play.
Another thing this run game is doing is setting them up for that flash action fake, which we saw them go to frequently in the first half. Maybe just some foreshadowing for the future, a little play action here on 3rd down. Ball on the 16. You got 3rd and 5.
John Carroll's defense started the first half with a nice note. They're trying to get the offense to do the same thing. BW with their backs against the wall. The Blue Streaks in the red zone. Schaefer into traffic. It's caught by Hippler. Wow. Between 3 defenders, Hippler makes the catch, and he's down inside the 5-yard line as his teammates come over and pat him on the head. That's a big first down.
Big catch, and that is a dart there from Schaefer, threading that needle in between linebacker Sean Nishwitz and safety Theodore Washington for the Yellow Jackets. And that makes it 3rd and goal. Ball is on the 3-yard line, I believe.
1st and goal for the Blue Streaks. A confident throw for the senior Schaefer out of Holy Name High School.
Very confident throw.
Low under center. He gives the ball to Pruitt. And Pruitt's down to about the 2-yard line. He picked up 1. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 2.
Senior Lawrence Wolf there. First one to get to him on the tackle along with Brock Hall and junior defensive end Andy Schultz.
Boy, how big is this series right now for both teams? The Blue Streaks trying to establish momentum. Baldwin Wallace trying to really, it's gut check time. You got to dig down deep here after the Blue Streaks scored on their last possession as well. Another handoff, Pruitt left side, and that one's easy. Touchdown, John Carroll.
Number 24. Stan Elad is a beast at the fullback position. He's clearing that way every time. There is, however, a flag on the play.
Yep, it's going to be holding against the Blue Streaks.
Well, I'll take that back. But what I was going to say is number 24, Stan Elad, at that fullback position is doing a great job of leading through that hole and clearing that way. A big hole on that play, maybe parts to the hole, but no touchdown.
So it's now 2nd and goal from back at the 12-yard line. Penalties continue to really hurt both of these teams. Not necessarily because they've had so many of them, but they've been ill-timed. 6:08 left in the 3rd quarter. This is only the 2nd possession of the 2nd half. Blue Streaks have had the football now for more than 5 minutes, and they have methodically marched down the field, mostly on the ground. 2nd and goal. Schaefer to throw, looking to lob toward Howell, left corner, and pass interference in the end zone. He's going to go against Baldwin Wallace. That's an easy call.
Easy call.
That's going to put the ball back in a much more favorable spot for the Blue Streaks, and it will then be 1st and goal.
So we go back and forth on the penalties now. That was Nate Fairster, the 5'10", 185-pound senior out of Olmsted Falls, in for Kerry Sparrow. You got to look for the ball. You can't just be facing receiver, grabbing on him. That was an easy call for the ref there in the corner of the end zone. Putting the ball on the 6-yard line, half the distance to the goal.
No, it's because it occurred in the end zone. It's going to be on the 2.
It's going to be on the 2. Oh.
Yep. Yeah, 2-yard line.
That is big.
Yeah, that is not a good penalty there for Baldwin Wallace. So 1st and goal from the 2 with 6:02 left in the 3rd quarter. And the Blue Streaks go back to an I formation offensively. A pitch this time to Pruitt. And he is hit immediately at the 1-yard line. Looks like the ball popped out. The question was he down prior to the ball coming out? Boy, if BW comes away with this football, how big would that be?
That would be huge. If he does come out with this, credit that fumble to Jake Maurer.
Nope, it's still John Carroll football.
John Carroll ball. Jake Maurer did make the hit to jar that ball loose on that play. Great way to come down, put his helmet right on that football. John Carroll comes up with the fumble.
Man, 2 monumental penalties and then nearly a change of possession on a fumble. Instead, it's just a 1-yard gain, 2nd and goal from the 1. Got to protect the football no matter which team you're rooting for today.
Yeah, definitely. And watch the penalties here.
Howell tight to the left-hand side. Pruitt the tailback. Pruitt gets the handoff, and he's across. Touchdown, Blue Streaks. Back-to-back possessions for John Carroll where they've punched it in the end zone and where Baldwin Wallace had a lot of leverage with a 7-3 lead most of the first half. Now they trail 16-7, and it could be a 10-point deficit pending the extra point. Here from Jake Vivinetto. Rich Miller the hold, Vivinetto's kick up and good. So with 5:27 left in the third quarter, the Blue Streaks go all the way down the field in a 6-minute and change drive, a 53-yard touchdown drive that took 13 plays, and they cap it off with a 1-yard touchdown run.
As you mentioned before the game, penalties, that's just something that you can't have either way. John Carroll commits a penalty. BW has to capitalize on that. You saw them put themselves back to their 12-yard line on the goal line, and BW gives a penalty to just basically give them those yards right back that they just gave away. But that's something that can't happen. BW has to capitalize. Now with the game being 17-7, down 10 points, you've got to take the yards when you can get them.
This is probably as big a possession as BW's had all game long. They've got to come up with something here to hang their hats on because right now the second half has been very one-sided. Matt Danko in, the freshman to kick it away for John Carroll, who is in the white and gold today. And once again, they'll kick it to Washington from his 11. Nice job of kick coverage. Everybody kind of stayed in their lanes all the way up the field. And a decent return, close to the 30. Should be about 16 or 17 yards when it's all said and done. And the Blue Streaks will bring their defensive unit back out on the field. You really got to look to Tyler Meglin here to be the leader that he most certainly is. And certainly want to keep your eye on him, too, because remember, he took that hit at the end of the series last time they were out there with his helmet after it had popped off. So hopefully he's okay.
That's what I was going to bring up. That hit along with the fact that I haven't seen Isaac Reed yet in the second half or Austin Smith. It's been all Adam Blake in the backfield.
And Blake is going to go right away into the Wildcat. Yeah. They're not even bringing Meglin in this first play. 1st and 10 with Blake. And a timeout called by John Carroll, it appears.
They didn't like what they saw there. And probably a smart timeout there by John Carroll as their defense looked to be a little startled at the formation. No Meglin, Austin Smith on the far side of the field in motion towards Adam Blake, who was at the quarterback position, as you mentioned.
So we'll give you a quick look at the updated stats here after that last scoring drive. The Blue Streaks went down the field again. We'll recap it. It was an 11-play, 53-yard scoring drive, 5 minutes, 52 seconds, and capped off by the Pruitt 1-yard run.
Pruitt approaching 100 yards, 15 carries, 98 yards, 6.5 yards a carry and a touchdown. Schaefer's looking nice through the air, 15 of 27, 119 yards, 1 touchdown. Favorite target today has been Jordan Durazio, 4 catches, 25 yards, and 1 touchdown.
5:18 left in the third quarter. This will be the first play of the drive, and Meglin is on the field now. They've changed the look. Tyler from the gun. This is a handoff to Isaac Reed, who has not really been much a part of the action today. He finds his way forward for a few yards. Reed was trying to become the first ever repeat winner of the Dick Miller Community Day Baldwin Wallace Player of the Game Award, though I'm not sure with 4 carries for 18 yards that he's going to come up with that award unless he's got something spectacular tucked in his back pocket here later in the game. They will announce that award at the conclusion of the game. 2nd down and 6. Reed takes another handoff and picks up 3 more. So it'll be 3rd down and 3. Ball's on the 35, right between the hashes. 4.5 minutes left, third quarter. John Carroll 17, Baldwin Wallace 7. Blue Streak's defense has certainly lived up to its high accolades here prior to the game. The offense has been okay. Baldwin Wallace hasn't done too much offensively today to hang their hat on, but their defense is certainly hanging in there. 3rd and 3. Meglin on the option, chooses to keep it. He stiff-armed one defender and was hit before he could cross the first down marker, I think. Trevor Norquist came out of the backfield. I guess maybe Meglin just barely got the first down. How about that? That's a big play.
Here comes that package again. Meglin out, Adam Blake in the shotgun formation. Austin Smith split out wide to the far side of the field.
Boy, they are stacking the right side of that formation awfully heavy. Blake runs that way, and he'll pick up a couple of yards. You know, that's been kind of the best success that we've seen BW have running the football when they go into that formation and they just stack it up and say, okay, we're running to the right, we're running to where the meat is. Come stop us.
Yeah.
That was a good
there.
4-yard pickup.
Yep, 4-yard pickup, 2nd and 6. Definitely manageable. Good play on first down for the Yellow Jackets.
5th play of the drive coming. Norquist, the only safety. He's deep on defense. 4 receivers set for BW. Meglin to throw this time. He is rushed and sacked quickly. Holy cow, Javon Dawson came flying into the backfield.
And as you spoke, as Norquist being back deep, Dawson was actually creeped up to the line ready for a safety blitz prior to the play, and he shot in the backfield. What an explosive play there and a big play, making it 3rd and 15. Ball on the 34 for the Yellow Jackets.
So they need almost midfield in order to move the sticks. They've been good on 3rd downs, but they need a big gain here. 2:35 left third quarter. It seems like every drive BW's had over their last 6 or 7, they've had one bad play or one bad penalty that's really hurt them. Meglin to throw. He's got a little time here. Buys some more with his feet. And now he's across the line of scrimmage and has to run where he's tackled quickly. That's Mason McKenrick, the linebacker on the near side. And there are a couple of flags down.
Definitely a play there. Tyler Meglin looks to, as you mentioned, draw time with his feet.
They have waved off the flag. So the Blue Streaks will bring the punt unit on as BW does the same. We'll give you an update from around the OAC after this punt. Austin Smith in, Jordan D'Orazio back to receive. Blue Streaks almost blocked it. D'Orazio calls for the fair catch, and he's got it. So the drive stalls, and the Blue Streaks get it back with 1 minute and 59 seconds left in the third quarter. And the new line of scrimmage is John Carroll's 22-yard line. Well, how about this? I don't think anyone saw this coming. Heidelberg has a chance to start 0-3. 12 minutes left in the game at Ohio Northern, and the Polar Bears lead it 31-20. Boy, if Heidelberg started 0-3, that would be devastating for them. Yeah, Mount Union is throttling Marietta 58-0, and Otterbein is handing Wilmington their lunch too, 24-2. 1st and 10 for the Blue Streaks from the 22. They continue the ground and pound affair, and Pruitt, looking for the sideline, lowers his shoulder into Dover as he runs out of bounds close to the first down.
He is running hard. I know you mentioned him nursing a hand injury, but I've seen no effects from the hand injury today. You saw him there, not shying away from contact, out of bound, lowering his shoulder on Howard Dover. 2nd and 2 for the Blue Streaks.
Baldwin Wallace has punted in each of their last 5 possessions, excluding the one that kneeled out the clock to end the first half. 2nd down and 2 from the 30. It's a screen pass right side and a good open field tackle by Dover. If he doesn't make that stop, then Nico James makes this a 24-7 game. It's enough for the first down as James stretched it out to the 34, but it was certainly a good tackle from Dover, who's been in on a lot of action today.
Definitely has been a great tackling cornerback in the open field for this Yellow Jackets defense and have saved a lot of plays from being more than what they ended up being here today.
Capital and Muskingum, by the way, will play later tonight. That's the only other game in conference. Schaefer looking deep, and he's thrown it out of the reach of Marshall Howell over the middle of the field. He was being pressured up the middle of that defense there. Anton Richardson, the sophomore from Gordon Tech High School in Chicago. Got credit for the QB hurry. 2nd down and 10 with just 1:01 left in what has been a very quick third quarter. John Carroll milked most of the third quarter on their first drive of the half when they went up the field and capped it off with a touchdown run. Golphin comes back in as Pruitt checks out on the far sideline. 2nd and 10 from their own 34. That's Elad in motion. Hard count from Schaefer. Throws quick left side. It's tipped and picked. Intercepted by Washington. A flag is thrown, and it may go against the Blue Streaks. That could be a face mask on the way down. What a timely takeaway by the Yellow Jacket defense.
Great play there and ball awareness by Trip Washington. Knowing where the ball is on the field. The ball bounces off of Mark Benowit's hands from Schaefer right into the hands of Trip Washington as we await this flag on the return. And, you know, this could be what BW needs here with 53 seconds left in the third quarter, 17-7. Getting their ball on the positive side on the field. Maybe get a chance to score here, make this a 3-point game. You've got momentum from the interception.
Well, it is a face mask penalty against the Blue Streaks. So you could mark off another 15 yards at the end of that one.
More penalties for John Carroll.
The ball's on the 23-yard line, and all of a sudden, momentum brown and gold. Meglin tries to rile up the near home side stands. It's a packed day today for Family and Community Day here in Berea, and now they've got something to cheer about. 1st and 10 Yellow Jackets. Meglin hands it off, and Smith barrels down to the 15 for a 8 or 9 yard pickup.
Here comes this rush tempo again from Baldwin Wallace, getting quick to the line, ready to snap the ball.
Smith on a second carry picks up the first down. So the clock will stop for just a minute with 33 seconds left. It's been a tightly contested game. This is the largest lead of the game for either team at 10 points, but BW knocking on the door here in the red zone. Blue Streaks quickly get set defensively, and there's a flag thrown that will kill the play.
And now all of a sudden you've got the ball here. Baldwin Wallace has the ball on the 15-yard line in position to score. This could be pivotal to the game here.
Well, it'll be inside the 15-yard line because of the
penalties.
5-yard penalty. Blue Streaks with a couple of mistakes. The interception, the face mask, and now the encroachment foul. 23 seconds and counting in the third quarter. 17-7 John Carroll.
Almost another
that time David Porter almost popped across the line of scrimmage. 1st and 5 from the 7. Meglin with 8 seconds on the play clock and on the game clock. They're exactly the same. This time he gives to Smith, and he's down inside the 5-yard line. It's close enough to the goal line, but not in. Well, the clock shows triple zeros, so they're going to have to go to the other end of the field. The clock stopped for a minute because it was a first down, but it was not quite in. The Yellow Jackets are threatening. We've come to the end of the third quarter, 17-7 Blue Streaks, but it doesn't feel like it right now, does it, partner?
It doesn't. It feels like Baldwin Wallace has the momentum here as you see the Yellow Jackets on the field fired up. Tyler Meglin skipping down the field, pumping the crowd up. As you mentioned, packed day here for Community Day. Student sections livening up. BW could have some momentum here, knocking on the door here. 17-7 starting the fourth quarter.
Well, this is where you really need to dig down deep and find some of your seniors to step up and fill those leadership roles that, you certainly hope they're capable of. I mean, obviously, we've talked about Meglin and Reed a lot, but there's some big guys up front that have certainly done a good job today. Josh Lane is a senior and a big part of this team. Center Anthony Lautanen, a senior from Mentor. Nolan Brandt, the right guard, he's a senior from Olmsted Falls. Dylan Minnick's been the tight end in on most of the tight end formation plays, a senior out of Twinsburg.
Yeah.
It's your last time to play in the Cuyahoga Gold Bowl, and for these guys, this is a big game for them.
Especially,
At the end of the day, if you lose one game that isn't to Mount Union in conference, it's really tough to make the NCAA playoffs.
Yeah.
So,
that's
these are the kind of games. Yeah. So these are the kind of games you gotta go out and play for.
And as you mentioned, for these seniors, 2 losses, could be 3. Definitely not how you want to go out against John Carroll your senior year if you're a Yellow Jacket.
2nd and goal from the 1. This is the first play of the fourth quarter. John Carroll leads by 10. Meglin from the gun. And he keeps it, and he scores. Touchdown, Yellow Jackets.
Easy touchdown there for Meglin, and now the Yellow Jackets are really fired up. And that momentum I spoke of is swinging now into the Yellow Jackets' favor. 17-13, awaiting this extra point from Joe Simonis.
So Joe Simonis on for the extra point to make this a field goal difference. High snap, but they put it down, and the kick is up and good. John Carroll 17, Baldwin Wallace 14, and we've got basically the whole fourth quarter ahead of us. Meglin with his second rushing touchdown of the day, this time from 1 yard out. And how big is that now that not only do they score, but they do it and answer on a Blue Streak turnover. That was their first turnover of the game. You've got 1 turnover each way. Everything seems to be right now in favor of Baldwin Wallace. If you're John Carroll, you got to just try to wash that and go about the next possession because you've still got the lead. But playing on the road, this is not an easy place for the Blue Streaks to play. We've mentioned it. They're just 4-10 when playing in games here at Finnie Stadium in the Cuyahoga Gold Bowl Series, which began back in 1989. Historically, even beyond that, have not been a good team here. So, momentum Yellow Jackets, no doubt. Here's the real question. Do they kick it deep to Howell or do they kick it short once again like they've done earlier?
Me personally, Howell's been held under control fairly today. I think they kick it deep. Well, they kick it short.
How about that? They call for a fair catch.
Yeah,
well, hold on a second.
You can't do that.
Well, that was certainly a goofy play, and I think it's going to be a penalty. There were 3 guys that went over toward the ball. One of them called for a fair catch. A different player caught the ball and tried to advance it. I think that's a penalty on the Blue Streaks.
I believe Danny Disbro, number 43 for the Blue Streaks, called the fair catch originally. And the second player came up and received the kick, which is, in fact, illegal.
Well, we'll see how this all sorts out. I imagine the penalty is going to stand. It's just a matter of where do they put the football now. Wow.
Well, they waved
the flag off. I think the Yellow Jackets coaching staff has a right to be a little frustrated at the moment.
Yeah, I'd like an explanation on that call myself.
14:55 left here in the fourth quarter. John Carroll gets the ball on their own 30. Pruitt over the century mark, 16 carries for 105 yards and a score. Meglin has been the mainstay on offense on the other side of things as Pruitt goes to the right side and picks up a couple. Meglin 5 of 11 through the air for 48 yards. He's been sacked 5 times. He has run the ball 18 times for 31 net yards and both touchdowns. 48 plays for 179 for Baldwin Wallace. John Carroll, 53 plays for 284 yards. Blue Streaks have it 2nd and 6 from their own 34-yard line. 14:30 left in the ball game. John Carroll 17, Baldwin Wallace 14. Schaefer throws near side. This is Howell. Good stiff arm. He gets out of a tackle but steps out. Still a first down, though, for the Blue Streaks up to the 44. That's a 10-yard gain.
Definitely Schaefer getting what he wants there. One-on-one coverage. You've got a corner 8 yards off. Howell just go ahead and run an out route, pick up a quick first down.
Well, you mentioned he's been held in check as he kind of hobbles off the field a little bit. Howell with just 3 catches for 24 yards in the ball game. That 10-yard reception was arguably his most impactful play of the game. It was his longest reception.
Very quiet game for Howell today.
And the Yellow Jackets are not going to complain about that. This time, Golphin trying to go left, and he is smoked.
That's the senior, Ian Harmon. You talk about senior leadership. There it is. Ian Harmon, the senior defensive tackle, coming in, grabbing those ankles.
Yeah, he blew through All-American left tackle for the Blue Streaks, Anthony Latina, the senior from St. Ignatius. I don't know if he just missed the assignment on the left side of the line or what, but Harmon went flying through the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 11.
Oh, he saw feet. He was grabbing those, no doubt. You can't let him get outside of that initial box. That's a very quick back. Golphin is.
Approaching 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Schaefer with time, near side, bobbled and caught by Pruitt. Got to catch the ball with your hands, not with your numbers. He almost dropped a completely open opportunity. Instead, he picks up 8 yards, and it brings up, check that, 9 yards. It brings up 3rd down and 2.
And that bobble may have been the difference between the first down. If he catches that clean, you never know what type of yards he can get after the catch. Bobbles it, and instead, Sam Groff, the outside linebacker, brings him up, setting up a 3rd and about 3, 2.
It's a short 3rd down and 2 from the 48-yard line. A lot of bodies on the line of scrimmage. It's a Blue Streak running play, and Pruitt is swallowed up.
That's Ian Harmon again, the senior, and he's pumped up after that play, and I would be too. 2 big plays, big stops in the backfield. Senior defensive tackle out of Columbus, Ohio, Ian Harmon, shuts that drive down single-handedly. And now the Yellow Jackets get a chance to strike again on offense. What a great feeling here if you're the offensive coordinator for the Jackets.
What a play.
And maybe not a good sight for Baldwin Wallace. Your starting cornerback, number 21, Kerry Sparrow, is on the sideline with crutches and a walking boot on.
What a punt by Rodriguez deep into BW territory. But Smith with the return in some open field before he's finally met
And if he keeps that
Tony
run
Perugini
outside,
on the tip.
that may have been 6. That may have been 6.
So the Yellow Jackets, with all the momentum in the world, get the ball back just 3 minutes after they score, or rather 2 minutes after they scored. 11:59 left here in the ball game, and the Yellow Jackets trailing by a score of 17-14.
And you've got to give it to this Yellow Jackets defense. Time of possession is pretty even here, but they've been on the field off and on a lot and have held their water and held everything down here to be having BW with first down right now on the 25.
It's a 21-yard return and a net punt of only 26 yards. Nice job there by the Jackets. So they've got it 1st and 10 from the 25. And now John Snell wants to burn his first of his 3 timeouts.
And he's not happy about that one either.
No, the play clock got down to 1 second, and the Yellow Jackets weren't quite ready to get that off.
And that's one thing here that can be key into a tight game is timeouts. How are you using your timeouts throughout this second half? Especially in a game that's close like this, could come down to wire. You need every timeout that you can get.
A lot has been made about this rivalry, certainly this week when you're in the week leading up to the game, but historically, this is just the kind of game that both teams early in the year have circled on their schedule. Regardless of whether or not you call it the Cuyahoga Gold Bowl, these are basically the 2 college football teams in Cleveland that have a rich history. And it's always an entertaining game when they meet. 1st and 10, Yellow Jackets. Trying to drive down the field to tie the game or take the lead. We are early in the 4th quarter. Blue Streaks lead by 3. Meglin with 3 targets to his right. And they go to the ground game. John Carroll was ready for it right up the middle.
Not much on the ground here today for BW. 131 rushing yards as of that last scoring drive. Most of that, actually, 31 of that accounted for by their quarterback, Tyler Meglin.
Yeah, Meglin's definitely had a big game. Smith continues to be the tailback, not Isaac Reed on 2nd and 7. Blue Streak showing pressure off the corner. A near side short throw. And an immediate tackle. Javon Dawson, the first to hit him. He almost grabbed him by the face mask. That was close to a penalty.
They swarmed on that bubble screen there to Tommy Fuller there. Backside corner blitz by Jared Donovan was coming in hot from the backside.
3rd down and 3. Meglin gets it off quick. Throws near side. Caught by the tight end. All the way up the field, near midfield. Dylan Minnick with a big pass and catch. From the 32 to the 45, a 13-yard pickup. And the Jackets move the sticks.
And Minnick just goes out there from his tight end position right into the flat. Big, easy target. Former defensive end last year makes the transition over to the offensive side and picks up a 1st down.
Flag is thrown, and it's the right call. That was definitely a false start on Dylan Minnick.
After the good play.
So it'll be now 1st and 15 from the 40-yard line. 3 wide receivers set with Wolf, Fuller, and Cook. All out there along with Minnick, who is now out going to be a split end. Blue Streaks adjusting on the defensive line. Austin Smith, the tailback. 10:24 and counting, 4th quarter. John Carroll leads by 3. The crowd has quieted down a little bit. This time Meglin on the keeper. Near side, good stutter step. Reese Armstrong, the touchdown-saving tackle. But after a 17-yard run, the Yellow Jackets with another 1st down.
Good read to pull that handoff there by Meglin. Nothing going for the running back. That defensive end on the backside crashes. He pulls it, picks up the 1st down. That's a great play by your senior leader and quarterback, Tyler Meglin.
Baldwin Wallace right now playing with a lot of confidence on the offensive side after several possessions of really some ineffective football. But the last couple times they've looked much better ever since that Trip Washington interception. Meglin trying to air it out. Hollins is with him, and he makes an incredible play to deflect that one away.
That's great defense there. One-on-one coverage. Your best corner, as I mentioned before the game, and in the boundary with their favorite target, best receiver. That's great coverage.
All-American cornerback Michael Hollins, who made the play of the game last week when he blocked an extra point at Heidelberg, which would have made it 17-7. He picked the ball up and ran it to the other end zone to give the Blue Streaks 2 points, making it 16-9, and totally changing the momentum of that game. From that point on, Heidelberg did not score, and they had only 68 yards of offense the rest of the game through 2.5 quarters. On 2nd and 10, play that goes right up the middle for virtually no gain, maybe a yard.
Tackled there by his own lineman, running into his own guy there. Maybe some type of mishap on the play. Brings up 3rd and 9 on the 42-yard line here for the Yellow Jackets, and definitely a big 3rd down. Would you call this 4-down territory right here?
Well, since you're down by 3, I wouldn't want to give the ball back quite yet. But you certainly got to see what you get here first. A fake screen play. Meglin is going to dump it off underneath, and the Blue Streaks had that sniffed out. Dawson was right there waiting for the screen pass to Smith. Not a bad play call, but John Carroll defended that perfectly. No gain on the play. It's now 4th and 9, and now I think you got to punt.
You have to punt now. It's almost like they knew that play was coming. They sent Tommy Fuller in motion, bubbling behind the quarterback, tried to throw the fake screen, but almost no one bit on that. Everybody instantly went to Austin Smith, who tried to sneak out the backfield and catch that screen pass, which was stopped by Javon Dawson, number 1, the free safety for the Blue Streaks.
So Smith to punt. Not a bad kick. DeRazio wants another fair catch, and he's got it at the 10-yard line.
Flag on the play. And it looks like it could go against the Blue Streaks, as they definitely look frustrated walking to the sideline.
Well, we'll see what the call is.
And how unfortunate would this be for the Blue Streaks? Another penalty.
Yeah, they are not sharp here in the second half, when usually that's where they excel. Holding call against Baldwin Wallace, and head coach Tom Arth says, you know what, back it up. If that means we might get 10 more yards out of the return, then we'll take our chances. So BW will actually punt again.
And I think that's the smart thing to do. Anytime you get a fair catch on the 10-yard line, not good, because at that point you don't want to let that ball bounce and possibly sit in between the 10 and the goal line. So you kind of have to catch that.
You need another good punt here from Smith. The ball is now on their own 48. Blue Streaks retreating. Smith with a high kick, and it's shorter. DeRazio was trying to get to it, and a long flag is thrown in. That's definitely going to be against the Yellow Jackets, who interfered with DeRazio as he tried to make the catch. The ball is down at the 12, but the penalty occurred right around the 19-yard line. Back-to-back, ill-timed, and honestly kind of sloppy penalties by the Yellow Jackets here at a crucial point in the game with 8:02 left.
And that's not a play there. That's their long snapper, Bucky Hendershot, number 34, that went down there and interfered with that fair catch. You can't do that. You see a guy call fair catch, you get out the way.
So the explanation being given to John Snell here on the near sideline. Waiting the official call. It is kick-catch interference against Baldwin Wallace. And they'll call it a 15-yard penalty. I think they're trying to decide whether it's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul or from where the ball was downed. I think it's got to come from the spot of the foul, right? Because
I believe it does.
If it's not, then you could end up having the ball spotted exactly where the foul occurred.
Yeah,
and that doesn't seem fair, so they'll mark it off from the 19. 15 yards later, that's going to go all the way out to the 34.
Definitely not what you want if you're a BW, especially coming from the first kick that was down at the 10-yard line, and now the ball's at the 34, as you mentioned, 1st and 10, and here comes Schaefer ready to lead this Blue Streaks offense up the field.
Yeah, that's a huge, huge turn of events. Schaefer, quick throw near side to Marshall Howell, and it's too low, incomplete.
Got to get that ball up. He had Howard Dover beat there on the hitch for a quick 5 yards. That's got to be a pass that he's able to grab easy.
7:58 left here in the fourth quarter of this game in a tightly contested Cuyahoga Gold Bowl. That's typically how they go. Most of the games in this series are decided by 10 points or less. A pitch right side to Pruitt. He reverses field, comes back to the 40, and he's up near the 42-yard line. That's a gain of 8.
Tackle there by Sam Groff. Right over the middle as Pruitt sticks his foot in the ground and cuts that run upfield. Making it third and 2 here for the Blue Streaks.
From their own 42-yard line, 7:30 left in the ballgame. John Carroll leads by 3, trying to extend this drive. Screen throw left side. Mark Bainowitz hit right away. Picks up maybe a yard, and now it's 4th down and 1 from the 43.
And that's a great play there by backup corner Nate Fairster in cover 2, coming down, staying in the flats, wrapping up, making a short tackle, And the backup corner from North Olmsted definitely saves that down for the Yellow Jackets, forcing John Carroll to do what would appear to be a punt.
Yeah, remember, Stan Elad is a good running back, and he's the guy standing between the punter and the offensive line. But Cal Rodriguez is such a good punter, I would expect that they'll just try to play the field position game here. Washington back, and he's going to let it bounce as the Blue Streaks try to converge. And how about that? They kill the football at the 3-yard line.
Right as you said it. He's a great punter. Why not put him out there? That's a great punt there by Rodriguez.
Trevor Norquist flew down the field and made the diving swat to keep the ball from going in the end zone. And John Carroll goes from what was the 43-yard line down to the Baldwin Wallace 3.
So we saw the punt that was fair caught on John Carroll's 10. And now we're looking at BW getting the ball from their own 3. So really literally opposite sides of the fields, and it shows you what penalties can do.
Makes a big difference in a ball game that's close, no doubt. Although I guess they'll call it the 4-yard line. Not quite at the 4, but knows the football might be there.
Yeah.
It has been a far more defensive second half than offensive, that's for sure. 6:27 left in the ball game. BW trails 17-14, and on a handoff up the middle, they give themselves some breathing room up to about the 10. A 6-yard carry brings up 2nd and 4.
Rushing back to the line again, back to that hurry-up sort of tempo.
Meglin keeps this one, and he is creamed by Dawson and company.
Gosh, Dawson's around that ball in the backfield a lot for his safety.
He sure is.
Really gets after it.
Give credit there on the defensive side also to Brown, Ray Brown, the junior from St. Ignatius. Hit him as well. No gain on the play, 3rd and 4. Meglin from the pistol. Blue Streaks almost bid on the hard count. You've got one deep safety for John Carroll here. That's Ray Brewster. Now Armstrong backs up as the strong safety. On 3rd and 4, another run play up the middle. He's got enough to move the chains, I believe, up to the 15. Yep, 5-yard carry on 3rd and 4 for Adam Blake, and a first down.
Now, as I'm watching number 4, Armstrong, here in John Carroll's defense, it appears that he's playing sort of a mirror position to Tyler Meglin, kind of just mimicking any motion that he does. And that may be part of the reason why they've kind of kept him in check on the running game today.
1st and 10 from the 15. This is the 4th play of the drive. 4:54 and counting. Baldwin Wallace down by 3. Meglin rolling right. Looking, throws, caught. That's another first down. The catch made near side by Trevor George. 10-yard pickup.
And that's exactly where the ball's got to be. That ball can't be anywhere else. He put that where only Trevor George could grab that. Decent defense there by Armstrong, but a better pass there by Tyler Meglin.
2012, when these two teams met at John Carroll, the game went right down to the wire. Baldwin Wallace ended up winning on an 80-yard touchdown pass to Josiah Holt after the Blue Streaks had blocked a field goal the possession before that would have given BW the lead. Last 2 years have been fairly non-competitive games with John Carroll winning, but this year is an entertaining contest for sure. Blake is upended right around the 32-yard line, and the Blue Streaks hit him a couple of times. Call that about a 6-yard gain, 2nd and 4 from the 32.
And the Yellow Jackets are moving here.
Yeah, they sure are.
Steady pace on offense. They got 3:51 left to go here in the 4th, down by 3.
Each team with 2 timeouts. And Blake stays in the game. We have seen virtually no Isaac Reed all day. On 2nd and 4, Blake to the right of Meglin. Near side corner blitz. Hollins couldn't get to him. Meglin spun out of a tackle. Boy, I'll tell you what, that could have been a bad play for BW had that waited an extra split second.
Yeah, because he came shooting in from that cornerback position. Mike Hollins did, as they hurry up and snap the ball and give to Adam Blake for what appears to be.
Yep, that's a first down on 3rd and 1. He picked up 2 yards. 6 plays on this drive. It started at their own 4-yard line, and they've moved it all the way out to the 39.
And the BW offensive coordinators are doing a great job of incorporating that hurry-up tempo, hurry up and getting back to the ball and running that play as they did to convert that first down on 3rd and short.
Under 3 minutes to play, the Yellow Jackets trying to drive to at least tie the game. Meglin hands the ball off up the middle, and Blake across the 45 to the 47-yard line.
Slowly but surely, but they're making it down the field, taking it in short chunks, and definitely taking some time off the clock with 2:35 and counting as Meglin hands it off to Blake up the middle again. First down, Adam Blake. Ball appears to be on the 45-yard line. Make that the 46.
One play at a time. This is starting to really look good for the Yellow Jackets, but they've still got some work to do.
1st and 10 here on the 46. The offense looks to the sideline and gets the call.
In Blue Streak territory at the 46-yard line. This time Blake over center, and he's hit after picking up 5. 2 minutes left in the game.
Adam Blake heads to the sideline to get a well-deserved blow. Austin Smith checks in as the lone back in the backfield. Well, he'll be joined by tight end Dylan Minnick and Meglin in the shotgun.
Meglin with 1:33 left. Fakes the handoff, and his pass is batted down by Ray Brown.
What a game he's having today for the defensive line.
You're not kidding. That was the 10th play of the drive, which started with 6:27 left. It's down to 1:30 with all these run plays. The clock just keeps on ticking.
3rd down and 6, ball on the 32. This is a huge 3rd down here for the Yellow Jackets, as John Carroll doesn't appear to be set on defense.
They've been good on 3rd downs, not just today, but all season long. 17-14 Blue Streaks with 1:30 left in the game. Meglin hands the ball to Smith, and he's up to the 40. A 2-yard gain brings up 4th down and about 4 yards.
And Andy
Decision
Bryant.
time here for the Jackets. I mean, they have to go for it, and I think it's wise. They'll use one of those 2 timeouts to make sure they get the right play in with 1:14 left. Well, with that, let's take a look at some of the scores around the conference. Ohio Northern has beaten Heidelberg 34-20. Heidelberg has lost all 3 games this season. Mount Union 61, and Marietta nothing. Otterbein is beating Wilmington 31-2 with just under 8 minutes left in that ball game.
Unbelievable. Heidelberg starts off 0-3.
Man, nobody saw that coming. Crazy. But here is probably the game of the day, to be honest with you. The commissioner of the Ohio Athletic Conference, Tim Gleason, he's been the commissioner for a long time. He is in attendance today, and he and what probably is more than 5,000 fans in attendance today have seen a good one. Another memorable game in the Cuyahoga Gold Bowl Series. The Blue Streaks trying to retain the Gold Rock for the 3rd straight year, while BW tries to take it back. Last time the Blue Streaks won 3 in a row, 2000, 2001, 2002, when their quarterback was Tom Arth. He's now the head coach. John Snell has been the head of this program at BW ever since then, and it comes down to one big play. 4th and 4 from the 40. BW needs the 36 to move the chains. 1:14 to go in the game. BW has 1 timeout left, trailing 17-14. High snap, option play. Smith is hit short of the line to gain. Meglin's pitch was right to Smith, but he was tackled on the far side of the field by Dylan Hall, The outside linebacker, the Blue Streaks take over on downs with 1:08 left, and they can kneel out the clock.
What an open field tackle there by that cornerback. That running back, Austin Smith, very shifty guy. He's got one guy to beat after the option pitch by Meglin. Great decision to pitch the ball, but
wow.
Great open field tackle. That almost a loss of words for that play.
It was 4th and 4, and they picked up 3.5 yards. Schaefer kneels down. Baldwin Wallace chooses to use its final timeout with 1:07 left in the game.
Definitely some silence here at George Finnie Stadium.
Well, there are some fans that are starting to leave, but this game is not quite over yet. You know, it's been one of those days where both teams have done a good job fundamentally. They've taken care of the football, but both turnovers were huge.
Yeah, one pick on each side, I believe. Two pivotal turnovers, as you said. Aside from the penalties and those turnovers, a very well-played game on both sides. And as you mentioned, those two turnovers were huge at that point in time when they occurred. Just very timely turnovers.
Well, this one's not quite over yet. Play clock's at 25 seconds because of the timeout.
Still got 1:07 left here.
I don't think the Blue Streaks would need to get a first down in order to win the game. I think they can still kneel out the clock if they do it right. Schaefer down on a knee. Yep. Yeah, they'll need one additional kneel down, but that'll be it. So John Carroll with the win today is going to improve to 3-0 on the season, 2-0 in conference. Baldwin Wallace falls to 1-2. They'll be 1-1 in the OAC before they head on the road next week to go play in New Concord against Muskingum as Schaefer takes the final kneel down, and that'll do it. No penalty flags, so the game is over. And the John Carroll Blue Streaks were given a mighty tough test today by a BW Yellow Jackets team in its home opener that Jason looked a lot better than I think people expected them to look this year. They won a tightly contested game at Ohio Northern last week and came in here with a lot of energy and enthusiasm today and just fell a little bit short to the 10th-ranked Blue Streaks, who maintain their undefeated mark at 3-0.
Well,
Clock just now hit 000, so the game is officially final, 17-14.
Definitely a very competitive game here. I know us talking before the game about the heated rivalry that this is, looking at the statistics and the win-loss between these two teams, and this matchup definitely upheld that. 17-14 is your final score here today at George Finnie Stadium. The John Carroll Blue Streaks on top of your Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets.
So not really the kind of outcome that BW had in mind. I think they'd be proud of the way they played, but I think both teams are also going to go back to the drawing board and say, you know what, too many untimely penalties today at big points in the game really cost us.
Definitely a game here where the penalties that happened could have, avoided here as we see some chatter between the players here at midfield. But definitely penalties here shot both teams in the foot at different times in the game. As we got some pushing and shoving going on here.
Well, this is a rivalry where we've certainly seen a lot over the years, and this isn't really how you want to do it. You've got coaches and staff members from both teams telling both of the guys to get to the separate sides of the field. There's no need for any of that. Well, a frustrating way to see what really was truly a hearted game. I mean, this is the kind of game where you're playing with a lot of emotion from the very start to the very finish, and unfortunately is not going to wind up the way of the Yellow Jackets, who fall on the season now to 1-2. We'll see here shortly. They will pick a player of the game. But before they pick it, I guess I'll ask you, who's your player of the game, Jason?
On that defensive side, I'm I'm going to take a shot on it and go on to the D-line, and I'm going to go with Brown. Ray Brown on that defensive line, I feel like played a great game, putting pressure on Tyler Meglin, who is such a hard quarterback to keep under control, and also keeping that running game under control. As you mentioned, Isaac Reed, not a very big day for him. Austin Smith had a pretty good day, but I feel like he led that defensive line to a great performance against this Yellow Jacket front five.
John Carroll will go home for their home opener next week, as head coach Tom Arth right now is being presented with the Cuyahoga Gold Bowl trophy. So the Blue Streaks will take the Rock back to University Heights for the third consecutive year. And while we still wait the official announcement of today's player of the game, it will be a Yellow Jacket, but not sure yet who it is. Final score one more time, 17-14. The Blue Streaks come out on top. Today's Yellow Jacket football game is being brought to you by Medical Mutual of Ohio. They're a healthcare provider of Baldwin Wallace University. Also brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division, the official healthcare provider for Baldwin Wallace Athletics. Brought to you by Parkway Auto Care in Berea, Strongsville Express Tire and Auto Service in Montville. We serve the southwestern suburbs of Greater Cleveland. Brought to you by American International. When you require a company with proven performance, rely on American International. And finally, brought to you by the Courtyard by Marriott and Town Place Suites in Middleburg Heights. Have you stayed at a Marriott? Stay today. Tyler Meglin is being honored as the player of the game for the Yellow Jackets. So he's out on the field, and he will receive the MVP plaque and be honored in front of a really nice crowd here in Baldwin Wallace. Jason, your final thoughts?
Definitely a tough loss here for Baldwin Wallace. As you mentioned, a lot of emotions flying around here. As you could see, ending the game there at midfield, and just definitely with the different type of penalties and personal fouls kind of pushing and shoving after the play. A lot of emotions flying around here today in a heated rivalry, and it did live up to the name. Tight game, good game, great defense, a lot of defense here. Definitely something that you want to see here as we're looking some final stats. John Carroll led by Aaron Pruitt, 19 rushes, 118 yards, 114 yards, and a touchdown. Jake Schaefer through the air, 19 completions on 34 attempts, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 143 yards through the air. So definitely a good game, a very sound game offensively for John Carroll, but not the best that they've played. And I know that they're hoping for better for their offense this year.
Baldwin Wallace will go on the road next weekend against Muskingum before they come back home. So this will be our last broadcast until the 10th of October, 2 weeks from today, when Baldwin Wallace comes back home, hopefully with a 2-2 record at that point. They're 1-2 as it currently stands. John Carroll will go home for their home opener next Saturday, a game where they will host Ohio Northern at homecoming week for the John Carroll Blue Streaks. Jason, was fun to work with you. Looking forward to doing it the rest of the year.
Always. Should be a great year this year.
All right. Baldwin Wallace loses today by a final score of 17-14. Until Saturday, October 10th, for my partner Jason Lacey, I'm Brendan Gulick. So long from Finnie Stadium in Berea. Baldwin Wallace loses the Cuyahoga Gold Bowl this afternoon, 17-14 to John Carroll. So long, everybody.